Okay. Last minute. Well, it's a bright and sunny Sunday morning at Coimbatore. I am at the Kari Speedway, and we are all set for racing action to come your way in the 24th edition of the Tyre-FMSCI National Racing Championship. It's round 1, and we're just about to head into day 2. It's a race weekend, remember? And of course, we'll have action-packed races across 3 categories today. The Formula LGB4, the keenly contested one. Of course, there is the Novice Cup, where a lot of youngsters are going to be seen in action, trying to earn their stripes on the racetrack. And of course, not to forget, you have the Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup. The bikes, the 650cc bikes, are going to be in action for the very first time that we're seeing the Continental GT Cup as a part of the National Racing Championship. So all in all, promises to be very exciting fair. But before we get into day 2, let's very quickly do a recap of all that happened on day 1 in terms of the races that were held across these 3 categories. How are you doing?
Good morning and a very, very warm welcome to the coverage of the 24th JK Tyre-FMSCI National Racing Championship. Before we start action on day 2, here are some of the highlights of what happened on day 1. We had 4 exciting races. We'll start off with the Novice Cup category. It was an M Sport 1-2 as far as the grid was concerned, with Ruhan Alva and Jayden Parade starting at P1 and P2 respectively. That's how the grid lined up. We had young Abhilash Jr. there as well. That's Kari Singh, the Chief of Safety of this event. 4 races on the opening day, and we've got 4 races lined up on day 2 as well. The inaugural race, the first one of the new season. That's how it got underway. It was a very good start for Ruhan Alva and Jayden. As you can see, the bird's eye view of the beautiful Kari Motor Speedway here. It's an eventful first corner, as you can see. It's an incident, a crash. You can see the nose of the car flying away as well. A couple of the drivers involved in that incident. One was Karthik and Chandrasekhar. Chetan Sorneni there in car number 56. The Marshal's doing a very, very good job to quickly get the cars off the track. And obviously, because that incident happened in the first lap itself, the race was red flagged, and we had a restart of the entire race. That's what happened. Raj Kavaria, the Vanshi, car number 33, and Karthik and Chandrasekhar in car number 10. They collided on that first corner going into corner 2. After all the things that were cleared away, we had a restart of the race number 1 in the Novice Cup category. And after the restart, once again, Ruhan Alva having a very, very good start, and so did his teammate. Jaden. Thankfully, no incident on the opening corner this time round in the restart of the race. Remember, these are the highlights of all the action that's happened on day one. Breaking in hard was Aman Nagdev, spinning Ashish Patel. Ashish Patel of M Sport, the lad from Vadodara. Momentarily we saw Surosh Ataria, the team principal of Ahura Racing. That's Anushriya Gulati. He's dominated through and through, did Ruhan Alva. Car number 27 started at P1 and slided and glid through the track like hot knife through butter. There's no problem at all for him taking the checkered flag. Aditya Parsuram coming in second, and a very good race for Gaurav Kochar as well. Remember, he started at P8 in that race and went up and got the third place on the podium. The winners there, Ruhan Alva, Aditya Parsuram and Gaurav Kochar. After the Novice Cup category, we went into race number 2 of the day, and that was the Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup, the inaugural race of this category. This is the first time this race was held in the JK Tyre National Racing Championship. There were a total of 20 bikers on the track. 18 were racing for points, while there were 2 media members that also took part in this category. Mutid Zuhaib and Zaran Modi were the 2 media members. Anfal Akhdar started at P1, bike number 5. Anish Shetty as well there, along with Alwyn Xavier, all locking up the front row. Very, very good start. You can see powerful bikes, 650cc. Excellent start there was for Anish Shetty, the lad from Hooghly. Went on to take the lead away from Anfal Akhdar. A keenly contested battle there between Anfal, Alvin Xavier and Anish Shetty. Of course, the incident of Syed Muzammal Ali, the lad from Bangalore, bike number 1, sliding. That's what happened there. Bit of contact, lost his balance. In the meantime, coming through the final corner of another lap, that was Anish Shetty leading the race. It's a good battle there between Anish and Alvin Xavier. Alvin, the young man from Thrissur, challenging Anish. These two had opened up a massive gap between themselves and the biker coming in at third. That was the nose of his car very, very early on in the race. As you can see there, the car without the nose. Good start for Raghul. That's when Arya Singh had the lead, car number 10. On the inside, trying to overtake Raghul, but Raghul, obviously the experienced man, the experience that he has, shut the door, did not allow the GTS to pass by. Sohail Shah too, Aditya Parsuram as well from Chetan Surineni coming in at 4th. Coming through that final corner of the lap was Ruhan Alva taking the checkered flag. Jaden Parrott coming in 2nd, and Aditya Parsuram taking the 3rd position. So back-to-back wins for Ruhan Alva in this category. 2nd podium for Aditya Parsuram as well. Those were the highlights. Now we go back to trackside where we got Raman Manoj joining Hari Singh.
Well, we saw what happened yesterday, which was day one of round one. Let's keep our focus now on day two, where live action is going to come your way. Multiple races, but before that, I have with me, and I'm in fact dwarfed, not just in height, but also by the stature of the man standing to my right. That's Hari Singh, of course, a man who's won multiple national rally titles, Asia Zone champion as well. Hari, you're also, of course, quickly letting all our viewers know, the head of safety as far as the conduct of the JK Tyre-FMSCI National Racing Championship is concerned. Thanks for speaking with us.
Thanks, Raman. Fantastic day for racing.
Yeah, just a little hot, and I'm sure the drivers are feeling a little hot under the helmet as well. But very quickly, it's a new season, the 24th edition of the championship, and every edition promises something new. What's new this time around?
Well, thankfully, COVID-19 is receding. That's we're good. We're happy to be here at the track. It's the 24th year. The grids have been fantastic. We've got almost 28 cars in the LGB and about 25 cars in the Novice Cup. And most importantly, we've got the Royal Enfield Continental Cup this year. It's so fantastic to see those bikes on the track, and they've done some super times. And those retro bikes, you know, really get the adrenaline going. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. I think about 180 kgs, thereabouts, 650 cc of power. It's quite a bit, but that's the new. Let's talk about the old as well, because old is gold, and we've got some healthy rivalries that always have been on the track with the Formula LGB4.
I know, that's it's always fun to watch the LGB4. The competition is so strong between the teams, especially M Sport and Dark Dawn. They don't give a split second to each other. I wouldn't even say a second. And this year again, race one was quite full of action. We had Vishnu getting knocked off, and you know, and we've got Anushriya on the front grid as well as at number 2. So that's because of the reverse order on the top 8 positions. So she did pretty well yesterday. And as usual, the boys are going hell for leather.
Yeah, looking forward to that, to seeing Diljit TS go up against Rahul Rangasamy and the work. So it'll be pretty interesting. But, you know, for someone who's watching racing for the first time, Hari, just talk us through the roles that have to be played by so many people to ensure the safe and successful conduct of a championship like this.
Well, that's very important, because we at JK Tyre believe in safety. If you don't have the safety, we don't want to do these events. So a lot goes into it. We make sure there's enough medical help. We have ambulances, fire extinguishers, the marshals are trained. The entire organizing team, you know, puts in a special effort to make sure no compromises on safety, period. That's the orders from the top boss. Yeah, and, you know, especially COVID-19, that's another, you know, very stressful thing. So as you notice, we're doing checks every day. Nobody can walk in without their temperature checks, their you know, oxygen checks, and of course all of them have come with their negative reports as well.
So a whole lot of stuff in terms of the pandemic, and of course the racing role, you know, the roles to conduct safe racing and effectively keep the monitoring of timings and the works. I'm sure that's another arduous task.
Yeah, I mean, that's secondary. I mean, I know we can run a few minutes late or anything, but safety is, you know, we make sure everything, the cars are, as it is, they're all pretty safe. They've got, you know, the roll cage inside, the seat belts, helmets, the race gear, which is fireproof. So all these things are standard for the championship.
Wonderful stuff. Great to hear as well the kind of initiatives that are being taken, the safety measures being put in place as well. But Hari, you know, there's another interesting initiative which JK Tyre has you know, gone in and complied with, the sustainability initiative.
Yeah, we thought it's about time we give something back to, you know, the environment. We've been taking, and also this is an initiative by FMSCI as well. So we've taken it a step further here. We've tied up with a local NGO who's No Dumping Logistics. They are helping us take all our waste and segregating it and, you know, using it the way, like all the plastic is used for different reasons. All the food waste is used for bio. So tires, the rubber, everything we're going to now try, you know, make sure save the environment.
Save the earth that we live in. So it's not just about consuming, but giving back as well. But Hari, thank you so much for giving us a wonderful championship year after year, JK Tyre and FMSCI.
Well, we look forward to it as much as you do, Raman. It's something that, you know, we look forward to. It's the second half of the year usually. The first half of the year, we're just planning, and when we are finally here, here it goes. The whistle's gone, and we're ready to go for day 2 of round 1.
Yeah, looking forward to that, Hari. Thanks for speaking with us. And of course, you could hear the whistle and the revving of the engines, because if you were to look this way, you can see the grids already lined up. We've got what will be the second race in the Formula LGB4 category. It's going to be the first race of day 2, but overall for this category, it's going to be the second race of the Formula LGB4. It promises to be very, very exciting, and keep a lookout on Anushri, because she's going to be there. Interesting scenario. You've got a whole lot of participation as far as girls are concerned on the racetrack as well. So it'll be good to see how she goes as well. Overall, it's to Karthikeya Sinha, who's there with us in the commentary box. We'll join you with commentary. Race action coming your way in just a bit.
Thank you, Raman. Yes, 3 minutes away from the start of action on day 2. Thank you, ladies, for the confirmation. 3 minutes for race 1 of day 2. That'll be the 5th race of the round. We will have, and we will start with the LGB Formula 4. The cars are lined up on the grid. As Raman said, it's a bright sunny day, a little hot. That's how the grid has lined up. Chirag Ghorpade, the young lad of Momentum Motorsport, starts at P1. Anushriya Gulati at P2. Vishnu Prasad, the former champion, P3. Chitesh Mandodi, another former champion, at P4. Amir Said, the champion of novice category last season, at P5. You got Mohammad Rayan, the youngster, at P6. Rahul Rangasamy, another former champion, at P7. Arya Singh, who got the race win, starts at P8. Vaibhav Parker and Sohail Shah lock up grid row number 5. We got Sandeep Kumar, the defending champion, at P11. Shredhav Diwan at P12. Ashok Lal, P13. Jasmeer Singh Juwal at P14. We got Yukeshwaran Krishnavelu at P15. Muskan Juwal, sister of Jasmeer, at P16. We got Bashir at 17. Priyanshu Talyan at 18. Bala Prasad P19. Ashwin Datta starting at P20. Tijal Rao will be at P21. Mohit Arden at P22. Akshay Kapoor at P23. Mehul Agarwal starts at the 24th spot. And then we've got Meera Eda starting at the back of the grid alongside Diljit TS. So that's how all the drivers have lined up. It's a full grid, bar 1, missing 1, the back end. This will be a very interesting contest right at the top. Young, high-flying Chirag Ghorpade will start at P1. We'll have Anushriya Gulati starting at P2. So off they go for the formation lap. We'll have a quick lap around the Coimbatore Speedway for intense racing action. Remember, no overtaking allowed during the formation lap. They will hold their positions that were on the grid. It's a great sight to see Anushriya right at the top of the grid. She'll be challenging the boys, such as the youngsters in Chirag and the experienced campaigners in the likes of Vishnu Prasad, Chitesh Mandodi, Raghu Rangasamy, Arya Singh as well. Remember, she was the women's category winner last season. Represented India in shooting and has also played basketball for her state as Anushriya Gulati. This is the 5th race of round 1. Remember, the new season has started at the 24th JK Tyre-FMSCI National Racing Championship, round 1. We had 4 races on Saturday. You saw the highlights of those a few moments ago. And now we're into live action. Race number 5 of the weekend. First race of the day. Second of this category, that's the LGB Formula 4. So it'll be interesting how young Chirag deals with all the pressure of the experienced campaigners as well, who are behind him, the likes of Vishnu Prasad. Amir Said obviously had a very, very good season last time round in the Novice Cup category, winning all the races. But this is a different ballgame. He's moved up to the LGB Formula 4 category, so how he deals with that pressure will be interesting to see. Good start for Amir Said as well.
Absolutely, keep an eye out on the red car, but for the moment a little incident involving a couple of other drivers. And I dare say that's Kshitij Mandodi, whose car seems to be stuck on the curb. But keep an eye out on car number 23. That's Amir Saeed, the red car, sandwiched between the two yellows that just went by. Amir Saeed was the champion in the JK Tyre Novice Cup last season. He'd won all the races of last year in the novice category. He's now moved up to the senior category. And as we speak, the yellow flag has been brought out, has it? Yes, because you can see the drivers holding their hand up, signaling to the one behind them to hold positions. Yes, the yellow flag is out, and I dare say the safety car will also come out on the track.
Well, the blue flag does signal that the safety car could be deployed. Lucky, Amir Saeed saw it on the right time because he was trying to come in on the inside and overtake Vishnu Prasad. And when you know that there is no overtaking allowed when the safety car is out, when there is a yellow flag. Once again, it is Meera Erdap, the birthday girl. It's not the kind of birthday gift she would have wanted.
Not at all. I dare say, while we're seeing the cars go get back into a sync,
so the safety car is out on the track. That means no overtaking allowed. The drivers will hold their position. So Vishnu Prasad is leading at the moment, with Amir Saeed coming in second and Mohammad Rian in third.
you can see the star on the car that says it all. Of course, Mercedes-Benz cars being driven as the safety cars, and also the FIV car as well. It's provided by the Mercedes-Benz dealership Sundaram Motors for this particular round, and you can see all the cars following the safety car at the moment that's come out on the racetrack. And the safety car will ensure, one, the pace at which these cars are going around the track. As you can see, the safety cars actually slowed its pace down. All the drivers following the safety car are forced now to slow down their pace, and they cannot overtake each other. They have to hold on to their position when the yellow flag was waved and the safety car came out on the track. So they've got to hold those positions. It'll be interesting to see. Now you can see car number 18 that's marooned on the side as the safety car comes around. Car number 18 belongs to Meera Erda, the birthday girl. The other car, I get a feeling there's one more car that's stranded on the track, but they're both off the track. They're not on the track, so I dare say they're not impeding the movement of cars, nor is it a safety concern. I dare say for the officials that any of the oncoming drivers can smack into the stranded car. So I feel that the safety car might just be heading towards the pit lane right towards the end of this lap.
Well, it has certainly picked up some pace, so it will be interesting to see, does it die down into the pits now, or will there be another lap behind the safety car? But Chirag will be a tad bit disappointed, youngster. Chirag Gurpade started at P1. He's, by the time they got to corner 1 and corner 2, he'd already lost the lead, so there will be at least another round behind the safety car, as you can see. This is what happened.
Take a look. Now, a couple of cars involved in that incident. Kshitij Mandodi in car number 77 getting stuck. There were a couple of other cars, car number 10 and car number 8. That's Muskan Jubal and Mohit Aryan also involved in that as well. A couple of cars that collided along with the car of Kshitij Mandodi. So you had 3 of those. Mohit Aryan, remember, is driving for Avalanche Racing in the Formula LGB4 category. Muskan Jubal, a young, I think 14 or a 15-year-old girl. There's a brother-sister duo that are participating in the Formula LGB4 category for the first time. Muskan Jubal and her brother, Jasmeher Singh Jubal, are a part of the Formula LGB4 category, both driving for Team Ahura Racing.
From Faridabad, the Jubal brother-sister duo, and caught up with them earlier, and they were like, we're here to enjoy, there's no pressure. I think that's a good attitude, making their debut in this category as well. So it's good enough to come out and enjoy, get the experience first, and then try and challenge later on as well. So the safety car still remains out on the track, still continuing to follow the safety car are all the racers, like good young pupils following the master.
And I think the reason why the safety car is still out, Kartikeya, is because you could see the recovery crane still in action. So you had recovery personnel and the recovery crane that was just by the side of the racetrack, ensuring that they moved one of the stranded cars away from the the side of the track, just off the curb. And because there are people, personnel working in close proximity to the racing track, that's the reason why the safety car was still out, and that's the reason why the safety car still hasn't gone into the pit lane. There'll be another lap that will be conducted behind the safety car. Drivers expected to hold positions, not overtake. A clear reason for that again is that the track isn't completely clear. The recovery personnel, under the careful supervision of Amit Jingan, who's the head of the recovery crew, are ensuring that the track is cleared.
Well, from the looks of things, it's a decent start for Dizzy Tias as well. He's moved up the back from starting at the back of the grid. He's now somewhere around the middle pack. And remember, all the laps that are happening behind the safety car are counted as well as part of the 15-lap race. 15 laps of racing in this category, LGB Formula 4. And we've got Vishnu Prasad leading the race. We've got Amir Saeed behind him. And Amir Saeed is sandwiched between the two M Sport. Ahead of him is Vishnu, and behind him will be Mohammad Ran. So very, very interesting as far as M Sport is concerned. Had a good day, M Sport, yesterday in the novice category, won both the races. And now we'll be waiting, hoping that the safety car slides into the pits and we can have high octane action resuming. But at the moment, they're all following the safety car.
And remember, it's a 15-lap race. 15 laps around the Kari Motor Speedway, and the length of each lap is 2.3 kilometers. So they've got to do 15 laps, each lap of 2.3 kilometers. The safety cars go to the pit lane. We're back to racing action now. And it is Vishnu Prasad who's the race leader, but he's going to be challenged by Amir Saeed, the young rookie who trained under Vishnu Prasad. Remember, while he was with Team M Sport last year in the Novice Cup.
It's the apprentice. It's the apprentice who's outdone the master. Amir Saeed wrestles the lead away from his mentor Vishnu Prasad. He's now, but Vishnu is saying, hang on, I taught you all, I know what to do, and it's Vishnu who's back in the lead.
Did he teach him everything? Did he teach him everything, or did he just hold a few tricks back? The master not fully revealing all his cards.
Well, this is very interesting. Right at the top with Vishnu and Amir Saeed going tire to tire again. Now look at that, Amir trying to come in on the outside. There's pressure on Amir as well from Mohammad Ran, Chirag Ghorpare, all 5 of them. In fact, there are 4 M Sport in the top 6.
This is absolutely exciting stuff indeed. Mohammad Ran, keep an eye out on him as well. He's in car number 45, the yellow, who is running third. But is he going to be overtaken here? Yes, I get a feeling as they go into that tight right-handed corner, Mohammad Ran has been overtaken. He's actually been overtaken, and Chirag Ghorpare is still in the hunt.
A couple of M Sport cars without the noses. One of them is Mohammad Ran, the other is Sohail Shah. So that certainly will impact the racing that we're seeing. Raghu Ramaswamy, the former champion, he's in the top 6 as well. While the pressure continues on Vishnu from Amir Saeed, this will be very exciting till the very end. And we've got car number 9, that's Sandeep Kumar in the mix. Now the defending champion from Dark Dawn. And obviously Diljit TS, you can't count him out. Arya Singh as well. All of them will be looking to move up a few spaces and a few ranks as the race proceeds. We're into lap number 6 at the moment.
I've got to say one thing, in the top 3 who are at the moment currently jostling for that top spot, Vishnu Prasad, and then there's the Amir Saeed, then Chirag Ghorpare. You can see the yellow, red and blue, but those 3 are clocking times of under 1 minute and 20 seconds. And Chirag Ghorpare has clocked the fastest time in lap 5 of 1 minute 19.316. That is the current fastest lap time in the race. Has he overtaken Amir Saeed? Yes, he has.
Well, just going slightly wide there was Amir Saeed, allowing that window of opportunity for Chirag, and he's capitalized. In fact, he's moved up to now 2nd. Vishnu starting to open up a gap between himself and Chirag. Amir Saeed is in 2nd, and in fact he's dropped down to 3rd as Amir Saeed. But another one of the Dark Dawns is now moved up in the 5th position. That's Sandeep Kumar, the defending champion. He's also now making his move. There's Sandeep Chirag. There seems to be something wrong because he's dropped down now further. And he's lost the nose of his car there on the turn as Chirag.
Oh, that was really disappointing. Just going into a tight corner, you can see the blue car without the front nose on it. And that's the incident that Karthikeya was just referring to. Chirag Ghorpare, who's been fantastic on the karting circuit, is now moved up to Formula Racing, trying to make his mark. Suddenly finds himself in a spot of bother. The aerodynamics will not be working in his favor now that the car nose has been shattered and blown away. A similar problem for Sohail Shah as well.
As well as for Mohammad Ryan, who's now under pressure from Sandeep Kumar for that third spot. Amir Saeed continuing, and he's trying to catch up with Vishnu, although Vishnu's, I think, just opened up that gap between. And that's the battle for third going on your screen. Car number 45, Mohammad Ryan, and car number 9, that is Sandeep Kumar. Look at that. He's opened up that at least in the second and a half gap as Vishnu Prasad now. No stopping, and he's now clocked a lap under 1 minute 19 seconds.
Well, he was very unfortunate yesterday in race 1 was Vishnu Prasad, when he actually got clobbered by an oncoming car whose wheels locked up, and that took him out of the race. Unfortunately, that was the race that went for him yesterday. That's what happened to him in the race yesterday. Today is a different day, and he's the race leader, very seasoned campaigner, multiple-time national champion. Vishnu Prasad in car number 6 just seems to be pulling away from the rest of the pack. Amir Saeed is looking to catch up. He's moved back again into second, and time again we'll keep referring to that moment last season when in the JK Tyre Novice Cup, Amir Saeed, as the youngster, was under the tutelage of Rahul Rangasamy and the likes of Vishnu Prasad, learning the ropes while with Team M Sport, and he went on to win all the races of the JK Tyre Novice Cup last season. He's graduated now to the Formula LGB4. He's pitted against his former mentor, someone from whom he's learnt a lot. Now this is the battle between the experience and the rookies.
And there seems to be a contact there. The flags are out, but at the moment I think that's for the back runners. With Vishnu continuing to lead the race. He comes in to end lap number 7 now, starting with lap number 8. Car number 13 doing the right thing, just getting out of the line, getting out of the way of all the front runners. DGT is now involved in the mix of things. Sandeep Kumar had that tussle going on with Mohammad Ryan. He's dropped back now a few places, so something must have happened there. DGTS is now up to 6th with Ragul in the top 5. Chirag Ghorpare remains in 4th. Mohammad Ryan in 3rd. Amir Saeed about 2.5 seconds behind race leader Vishnu Prasad. Battle there, an intense battle with Chirag and one of the M Sport, and that looks like it is Mohammad Ryan. Yes, that is Mohammad Ryan putting some pressure on young Chirag Ghorpare, although Chirag has now moved up ahead of Mohammad Ryan. Car number 99, Raghu Rangasamy, also in the mix of things for that 3rd, 4th and 5th spot.
Very experienced campaigner, Rahul Rangasamy, and he, I'm sure, is trying to use the slipstream. There's going to be a lot of drag for both the cars, Chirag as well as Mohammad Ryan.
This is where I think something must have happened, and yes, that's where it slid. A little slip for Sandeep Kumar, and that's why he's doing very well. Lost a few places and moved down to 7th now.
He's lost a couple of places there at least. See how Diljit TS manages to come back into the scheme of things. He's currently running 6th along with his teammate Sandeep, who's running 7th. The two Dark Dons are not in the top 5. The top 5 sees at least 3 M Sport cars, if I'm not mistaken.
Vishnu, Mohammad Ryan and Raghu Rangasamy. These are the 3 M Sport in the top 5. Amir Saeed of Ahura Racing along with Chirag of Momentum completing that top 5 at the moment. DGTS, remember, started way back at the grid, and he's done exceedingly well to come in at least till now in the top 6. We still have about 5 laps to go after this one.
And I think now challenge is going to be the back markers. A little tussle here between Mohammad Ryan and Chirag Ghorpare. Well, Chirag has lost a couple of positions there. Mohammad Ryan goes past him. Raghu Rangasamy goes past him as well. So he's dropped at least a couple of places, has the young Chirag Ghorpare. But I was talking about Vishnu Prasad. He's going to run into the back marker. I think Bala Prasad, his teammate from M Sport, is almost going to get lapped in just about a bit.
is going to be again now making the move on the inside was Diljit TS, but obviously following the lines there was Chirag along with the teammate of Diljit, that's Sandeep Kumar. Now 2 cars without the noses, that's one. The yellow one is Mohammad Rayan, followed by Chirag Gorpore as Raghul. So Raghu Rangasamy, who moved up ahead of Chirag, is now dropped back down to 5th with Diljit TS. That's your race leader by far, and he's past the back marker Bala Prasad, car number 2.
And I wonder how Amir Saeed now is going to handle going past the back marker as well, because he's ideally Bala Prasad's got to move aside and allow the faster cars who are lapping him to go past. This is the battle that's on for the 3rd spot. Mohammad Rayan and Chirag Gorpore battling it out for that position.
It's a very, very keenly contested battle. You can see now Sandeep Kumar has moved up ahead of Raghul Rangasamy, and now Diljit TS is hot on the heels of Raghul as well. So that's one M Sport sandwich between 2 Dark Dawns as we come to the end of yet another lap. It's Vishnu Prasad who's leading. Amir Saeed, who's just clocked his best lap, 1 minute 18.230. He's in 2nd. Mohammad Rayan in 3rd. Chirag Gorpore in 4th. Sandeep Kumar has moved up to 5th. Raghul has dropped down to 6th, followed by Diljit TS in 7th. Well, that's the race leader, Vishnu Prasad, well ahead, well ahead, close to 3 seconds, the gap between him and Amir Saeed. This will be obviously, unless he makes a mistake, this should be done and dusted for Vishnu. But the contest for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, that is something that's very, very interesting. And Raman, you were talking about Amir Saeed now running into the back markers, and I think he's got the experience of doing that. Remember, he did that in every race last season.
And he's gone past him. So you can see the yellow car number 2, that's Bala Prasad. He's running a lap behind the other drivers. So Vishnu Prasad has gone ahead of him. Amir Saeed, the red car, has also gone past him. Now that's the challenge that's going to come up for the likes of Chirag Gorpore. But this is what I was talking about. Car number 23, Amir Saeed, he's running a lap ahead of the car behind him. That was Bala Prasad in car number 2. Vishnu Prasad, the race leader in car number 6. He's in your picture frames at the moment. We've done 12 laps in this 15-lap race. This is lap number 13. Another 2 laps to come after this. Valuable points are up for grabs. 10 points for a race win. Can Vishnu Prasad pocket those?
Well, he certainly will be hoping so. Didn't get too many points yesterday in race 1 of this category. In fact, nothing at all came Vishnu's way. So he'd be hoping to get 10 on 10 as far as this race is concerned. Amir Saeed also would be hoping. Didn't finish in the podium, Amir, yesterday, but he'd be hoping now he can get on that podium as well. Get that habit back. Remember, finished on the top of that podium in all 12 races last season. We keep repeating that because that was actually something that you don't see every season. And now Raghul, it seems, has dropped further behind, and he's now, I think, out of the top 6.
Yes, you remember yesterday I had an incident. Vishnu Prasad got knocked off the track, yet managed to keep his car running. If memory serves me right, he got back on the track and in the end went on to finish 6th. So, and that was, he finished 6th because there were a couple of disqualifications as well. Diljit got disqualified due to a technical infringement, which is why he started the race at the back of the grid. Sohail Shah got docked 10 places for overtaking on a yellow flag. So Vishnu, in fact, who had finished further down, actually got amongst points.
So he'd like a full 10 today, and I think the way he started the race, he looked determined to do that. There he is on your screen again, the race leader, Vishnu Prasad, former champion as well. He is followed by his apprentice. The master is leading, the apprentice coming in 2nd, with Amir Saeed into lap number 14 now. Excellent lap times for both Vishnu and Amir Saeed. Amir Saeed, obviously, he has that space ahead of him, so he can push, but the gap is increasing as we speak. With every passing lap, the gap between Vishnu and Amir, it's now a shade above 3 seconds.
Yes, and I think also the lap timings have gotten better as the races progress because the tires have gotten warmer. You look at the lap times for the top 3, they are under 1 minute and 19 seconds. Earlier, it was under 120, so they've shaved off about a second every lap, have these drivers. Vishnu, of course, now is into a very, very important phase of the race. Could this be the lap that decides the fate? Can he walk away with 10 points? Remember, the top 8 drivers will be getting awarded points. The race win, of course, very, very essential. That gives you the full 10.
So we're into the final lap of this race, race 1 of day 2 of round 1. That's the LGB Formula 4. Vishnu Prasad, who started at P3, dominated from corner 1 of lap 1, and he's continued to keep that lead with himself. Although there's an interesting battle going on for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, that seems to be settled now. Amir Saeed is continuing in 2nd. That's him on your screen, car number 23. He's followed by one of the back markers. That's Bala Prasad. There's Chirag Gurpore in 3rd. Sandeep Kumar has moved up to 4th. Mohammad Ran as well in the mix of things. Diljit TS has moved up to 4th as well. So that is I think good, because remember he was disqualified yesterday with Diljit for a technical infringement. So he would be desperate to get amongst points as they come through for the final time of the final corner of this last lap. That is Vishnu Prasad coming in on that final straight, takes the 2nd flag, takes 10 points, and the race win for Vishnu Prasad, the former champion. Chirag Gurpure coming in 3rd, as it was Amir Saeed who took the 2nd spot in the race.
So a handy result that Vishnu Prasad notching up a race win and a valuable set of points that's going to help him in the overall Drivers' Championship. He's taken something sizable away from the first round. Remember, there's one more race still to come in the Formula LGB4 category in round 1. That's later today. So he'd be eyeing a good first round to build a healthy lead over his compatriots and rivals alike. Compatriots because they're drivers from Team M Sport, his teammates whom he's also pitted against.
A very, very dominant and a strong display from Vishnu Prasad. I think the way he's driven throughout this race shows he's back to his best, and he'll be challenging for the title once again this season. By the end, we'll know we still have another 3 rounds to go, apart from a race later on today. So race winner Vishnu Prasad there on your screen, gets all 10 points, and now they'll go through the mandatory weigh bridge to make sure that they have the required weight as far as the end of the race is concerned. But from the moment he took that lead at corner number 1, he continued to dominate Vishnu Prasad. With every passing lap, he opened that gap between himself and 2nd place Amir Saeed. Chirag Gurpure, despite losing the nose of his car in the very first round, did exceedingly well to finish in the top 3. Sandeep Kumar came in 4th, and Sohail Shah, who initially won the race yesterday but was obviously penalized, finishes 4th. Very interesting race, a lot of incidents, and very eventful race as we just saw. But Vishnu getting the points. The former champion is back, and he's back with a bang. To quickly go through the highlights of this high-octane race. Off they went. It was Chirag who started at P1, Anushya Gulati at P2. But there you see Vishnu making the move, coming in on the outside, and then in the slipstream taking the lead as early as C2. And once you give Vishnu the lead, he's not someone who gives it back. That was the incident that started with Chitesh Mandodi, the car number 77. That was the end of the race for him. The safety car then came out for a couple of laps. Once the safety car went back to the pits, it was again high octane action. Mohammad Rian was till a point of time doing very well. He was in 3rd. He was challenging Amir Saeed. Amir Saeed took the lead for about 1 corner away from Vishnu, who he was mentored last season by. And Vishnu said, well, hang on, I have a few tricks up my sleeve too. And he took the lead back, did Vishnu. And since then, it was Vishnu Prasad all the way. Amir Saeed did exceedingly well. So did Chirag. Chirag Gholpore there. Again, the yellow flag came out, the safety cars. Chirag there, in fact, for a moment, moved ahead of Amir Saeed. Mohammad Rian there without the nose, the yellow car without the nose, doing very well. Continued to challenge Amir Saeed as well. And that's where Chirag Gholpore lost the nose of his car, went flying, but he continued to race. Mohammad Rian, in fact, that was when Sandeep Kumar was moving up the paces, had a little incident, slid, but then luckily for him, got back racing. And he did very, very well to come in the top 5. Excellently done there from Mohammad Rian, the yellow car. Raghu Rangasamy would be a bit disappointed because he wasn't on the podium positions. Chirag Gholpore, the blue car without the nose, continued to press hard, but there was no pressing on Vishnu Prasad. He was way ahead of the pack. Diljit also was involved briefly in that top 5 fight. Race winner there, coming through the last corner of the final lap and taking the checkered flag was Vishnu Prasad of M Sport. Amir Saeed in the second and Chirag Gholpore coming third. So that was race number 1 done of day 2. Terrific race, excellent skills shown by some of the youngsters, the likes of Chirag Gholpore and Mohammad Rian. Amir Saeed there as well in the mix of things. Back on the podium, the youngster. I would say that's somewhere that I do belong, and he is back on that podium. So excellent start of the day again for Vishnu Prasad. Gets the top of the podium, gets all 10 points, and he'll be hoping that in the second race of the day in this category, that'll be the third of the round, he would want to be there again. Sandeep Kumar doing well. Remember, Sandeep moving up into the top 5 with that performance. Diljit TS doing very well. Obviously, not in the top 3, but considering that he started at P6, right at the very end of the grid, he did very well to move up into those top 10 positions. And a very entertaining race here coming to an end with Vishnu Prasad winning, Chirag coming in third, and we got young Mohammad Rian in second. So we start the prize distribution ceremony now. You can see third place on the podium. That is Chirag Gholpore of Momentum Motorsport, a very highly rated young talent. That's the young man, Amir Saeed, only 17 years of age, and he's back on the podium. Did not finish on the podium in the first race of this category this round, but he's back there. He's made it a habit, and he's certainly enjoying it. Coming in second, and the experienced campaigner, former champion, Vishnu Prasad, getting the race win and back the top of the podium. Those are your winners. Vishnu Prasad, Amir Saeed, Chirag Gholpore. Another race in this category. That'll be later on in the day. There's a trophy for the master technician as well. And Hari Singh, the chief of safety, joining in the winners on the stage there. Well, caught up with Hari Singh earlier before the start of the day's action.
To break free, break away from the routine, to the greens, and get lost in the world within. to steer through, to stop. Start again. Go forth. Shed your inhibitions and just let it all go. With JK Tyre's Ranger 80, made of tough, made for adventure. For the ones who are wild at heart. JK Tyre, total control. They've come from the future to change the way we drive.
JK Smart Tire, buddy.
JK Smart Tire, the tire with a brain. The future of driving is here. JK Smart Tire.
You know, when you get a race result like you've just got in the Formula LGB4, you know that motorsports in India is going the right way. Because the 3 podium finishers, you've got experience in terms of someone who's won multiple national championships, of course. You've got someone who's come through the JK Tyre Novice Cup to go on and claim a podium in the first round itself of the Formula LGB4. And then you've got someone who's done wonders in karting to now come into Formula racing and say, okay, I'm a force to reckon with. And of course, let me remind everybody, there are 3 drivers from 3 different racing teams. First of all, congratulations, Vishnu, for that hard-fought win. But in the end, you had a huge gap between yourself and Amir.
Not really. At the beginning, we had a tough race with both these guys next to me. I think Ahmed actually passed me a couple of times, and yeah, we tried to, you know, just keep our calm and do consistent lap times, and that's about it.
Well, good that you've actually overcome the disappointment of yesterday to, you know, come up with a race win.
Yeah, yesterday was a bad day. Today started off decently, and hopefully we can have a better next race in the evening. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Now comes the big question, because I'm going to talk to Amir Saeed and talk about his transition from the JK Tyre Novice Cup to the Formula LGB4. A change of teams as well from last season, where you had Vishnu mentoring you. This time around, you go up against him for Team Ahura Racing against Team M Sport, and you get onto the podium.
Yeah, the transition from Novice Cup to here has been, it's been a challenge, but I'm always up for a challenge. It's far more competitive grid as there are so many national champions and ex-national champions. So it's extremely fun to drive, and yeah, I'm racing for Ahura, so it's fun to go up against against my coaches and mentors and stuff. Yeah.
I'm going to ask a quick question to Vishnu here before I move on and talk to Chirag. Vishnu, they say the mentor teaches a lot of tricks and shares a lot of info. You did that last season with Amir. Did you teach him everything?
I mean, I'm happy. At the end of the day, I'm happy he's doing well, and you know, I'm more than happy to see him on the podium. And I continue to hope that he keeps doing well, and I'm sure he's on the right path, and he'll do very good things in the future.
So thanks so much for that. Amir, you actually were in contention. You passed him a couple of times in the initial period once the safety car went off, and then suddenly Vishnu seemed to pull away. Was there an issue with the car, or exactly what happened there?
Yeah, in the opening few laps, we had a good start, so I was able to stay with them and stay in the fight. And then I was following Vishnu, but somewhere in the middle of the race, a few issues came up with my car, so it became a little bit tough to keep up with him. But anyway, we'll work on that, and hopefully we'll come a lot stronger for the next race.
Congratulations on the podium finish in your very first round in the Formula LGB4.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, let's talk a bit to with Chirag as well. Chirag, despite the challenges, despite having the aerodynamics of your car not in ideal condition, having lost the nose of your car during mid-race, you still managed to finish on podium.
Yeah, it was I would say it's a tough race, because starting from pole, you know, finishing third, it's not ideal, but this is what we could manage, and I'm actually happy. A couple of times I lost position, probably went to 6th once as well. So yeah, to finish third after that, it seems like a positive result. Still, I didn't drive my best race today, so I'll have to work on it myself. Car felt great. So, yeah, it's a bit disappointing that way, though.
Just a quick thought, someone who's come through that elaborate karting program now into Formula racing, how's the transition been?
Oh, the transition, it's been quite easy for me. I mean, the racing is a lot more harder. It's a lot tighter. I mean, it's not tighter, but it's like you can make more moves and the slipstream effect is more. So it's more fun that way. But yeah, the transition wasn't that too different initially.
Well, congratulations on a podium finish and go well for future.
Thank you.
There you have it. A fantastic result that you've got in the Formula LGB4 race. We've got a lot more race action coming your way, including the JK Tyre Novice Cup race right after this. And of course, don't forget, later in the day, there is another bike race followed by another Formula LGB4 race. So lots to look forward to. Stay with us.
Well, that was Raman catching up with the winners of the race. Vishnu Prasad taking the checkered flag, Young Amir Saeed coming in second, and Chirag Ghorpade taking the third spot on the podium. Well, it's an exciting race. Had the safety car come out as well. And talking about the safety car, that safety car, obviously Mercedes, one of the best in the business, is run on JK Tyre UX1. It's got an 18-inch rim and it's doing a fantastic job out there on the track. Well, we've got the next race coming up. That's the JK Tyre Novice Cup category. But before the race starts, we will take a very, very quick break and come back with live action.
They've come from the future to change the way we drive.
JK Smart Tire, buddy.
JK Smart Tire, the tire with a brain. The future of driving is here. JK Smart Tire. It's time to break free. Break away from the routine. To the greens. And get lost in the world within. To steer through, to stop. Start again. Go forth. Shed your inhibitions and just let it all go. With JK Tyre's Ranger 80, made of tough, made for adventure. For the ones who are wild at heart, JK Tyre, total control.
Right then, welcome back to the live coverage of the 24th JK Tyre-FMSCI National Racing Championship, round 1 of this season. And into day 2, we've already had one exciting race. That's the LGB Formula 4 with former champion Vishnu Prasad taking the checkered flag. Amir Saeed coming in second and Chirag Ghorpade taking the third and final spot on the podium. Now, on to the second race of the day. That'll be race number 6 of this round in the JK Tyre Novice Cup category. We'll have 12 laps in this race. The drivers are out. They're making their way on to the grid. We'll have a formation lap followed by the 12 laps. And promises to be yet another exciting race. We had Rohan Alva dominate proceedings in this category yesterday, winning 2 out of 2. And he'd be hoping to make it 3 out of 3, while his teammate, that is Jaden, who finished second in one of the races, he will be hoping to go and spoil the party. Couple of podium places for Aditya Parasuram as well. And he'd be hoping to be there again when the race action comes to end of this race. As you can see, the cars are now lining up on the starting position on the grid. We will have the reverse grid. That means the top 8 will be reversed. We were talking about the Novice Cup category, how it's a stepping stone for young racers from karting on to the Novice Cup category, and then from there on make their way onto the LGB Formula 4 and then on to bigger things. We saw Amir Said do this this season. Last year he was in the Novice Cup category, dominated proceedings there, absolutely dominating performance from him. 12 out of 12, a total of 120 points out of a possible 120. Can't get any better than that. And he's now in the LGB Formula 4 category. So that's the kind of the inspiration for these young racers who will be targeting a good showing in this category to make their way onto the LGB Formula 4 category. Be interesting battle between Ruhan Alva, Aditya Parsuram, Chetan Surneni, Gaurav Kocher there, as well as Aman Nagdev, Nitish Chaudhary, Naim Rizvi, another youngster, and obviously we have Jaden Parrett involved in the mix of things as well. It was a very good day in this category for M Sport. They've started today M Sport with a banging win in the LGB Formula 4, and the Yellow Brigade will be thinking that that may continue today. So that's how the grid looks, with the reverse grid kicking in. Aman Nagdev starting at P1, Kamal Karan at P2, Joel Joseph P3, Nitish Chaudhary P4, Chetan Surneni P5, Gaurav Kocher P6, Aditya Parsuram P7, Ruhan Alva P8. We got Anvay Hem Rajani in P9, Adit Prashar P10, Dhruv Sona P11, Naim Rizvi P12. Prathna Murugavil at P13, then we got Ashish Patel P14, Raj Kumar Yadavanshi P15, Mukul Kumar P16, Jaden starting at P17, and we got Pranit Watway at P18, Avilash Jr. and Chandrasekhar, Karthikeyan Chandrasekhar locking up the 10th row on the grid. And they'll be followed by Vineet Kumar, Kishan Bindal and Shivesh Selvaratnam at the back of the grid. So that's what the grid was. We'll quickly go trackside where we have Raman Banot.
Is a whole lot more powerful. It's the AMG A35. It's running on a 2-liter turbocharged engine, a dual clutch transmission, and of course, don't miss the tires. Of course, these are the 18-inch JK tires UX1. It really is a beast on the track. It's also used as the safety car. But that's not where the story ends. The story begins here. You know, the twist in the tale is the man who's behind the wheel in the safety car is Abhilash. Hi, Abhilash.
Hi, how are you?
There is another Abhilash who's on the grid right now, and that's Abhilash's son. He's called Abhilash Jr. So what are the driving tips that you've given to your son? He's driving in the JK Tyre Novice Cup.
Make up the maximum positions you can while on the track.
Well, I tell you what, that's the advice that he can give to him before the race. There are no favors during the race for sure. That's the way it is. So we've got the safety car on the racetrack. It's a mean machine. And of course, there's a whole lot of role that the car's got to play. In case there's any incident, that's when Abhilash and the safety car comes out on the racetrack to ensure everything's all right before the racers can get back to action. Abhilash, I'll leave you to your job. Thanks so much for speaking with us. And of course, let's keep our focus on the racing action that's going to come up in just a bit, because look back here. What have we got? We've got a packed grid. And this is the grid for the JK Tyre Novice Cup. Now, this is a grid that sees a lot of young drivers who are trying to make their presence felt on the racetrack into Formula racing. We've seen some great results yesterday. And a quick reminder on what happened. Ruhan Alva did exceedingly well. A couple of race wins for him in the JK Tyre Novice Cup. And the interesting story is, how does he go today? There is a certain degree of legacy here as well, driving or racing passed on down generations, if I might talk about that, because yesterday on the race grid, we saw Ruhan and Jaden on the front row initially, and they're both children of very, very famous rally drivers themselves. And another young talent on the race grid, Aditya. Well, his father was a master tuner, Parmeshwaran. I remember him from the Super Saloon car days that were part at one point of time of the JK Tyre-FMSCI National Racing Championship. But, well, let's keep our focus on these young lads who are trying to prove their worth, trying to prove their mettle. Put the pedal to the metal on the racetrack here at the Kari Motor Speedway in Coimbatore. Well, let me see if I can go down and have a quick chat with some of these drivers while we've still got just a little bit of time as they go through the last minute preparation. Follow me and keep a focus on these guys. On pole position. Now this is going to be really interesting. Last minute advice being passed on to the drivers. I'm not going to distract you guys. What can Nagdev come up with? He's got a great chance with the reverse grid kicking in. He starts off on pole position, and a great opportunity for him, for the driver from Momentum Motorsports. They've got a 1-2 on the starting grid, and that's something that really might work wonders for Team Momentum. We've got Kamal Kanan, who's got a great opportunity, a clear track ahead of him. All set?
Yeah, all set.
What's the mood like in the camp? 2 Momentum Motorsports cars on the front row.
Yeah, we have to get a good start. Yeah.
Well, wishing you all the best. Go well. That's the way it is. You know, with the reverse grid kicking in, there's also a huge advantage, because a lot of times you have racers getting the best of having the clear track ahead of you. So the moment you kick in with a reverse grid, where the race winners of the previous race get actually clocked back at 8, so there's a lot of chance for some of the other mid-pack drivers to actually get a front row look and try and prove their worth, try and prove their mettle. So, as the drivers get set and ready for race action to come their way, Aman Nagdev is the man who's on pole. Aman, I just didn't want to disturb you at that point in time. You're getting some last-minute advice, but we're all set for this.
Yep.
Any specific advice that came your way?
Secrets can't reveal.
Secrets can't reveal. Well, I'm sure the secrets will be revealed on the racetrack. Go well. And that's the way it is. So the drivers are ready. I'm going to hand it over to Kartikeya Sinha, who's in the commentary box, to take you through this race. And I'll be joining in there soon.
Thank you, Raman. Well, we're ready for race 2 of the day, and that's in the JK Tyre Novice Cup category. A fair bit of information there coming from Raman as far as the safety car was concerned. That's run on the JK Tyre UX1. We'll have 12 laps in this race. Yesterday we had 2 races. Both of them were 10-lap races, but today it will be a 12-lap race. Interesting as the reverse grid kicks in. We've got Aman Nagdev at P1. Alongside him is his teammate Kamal Kanan GK. This will be a bit of a test for Ruhan Alva, who is now starting at P8, alongside Aditya Parsuram, who will be in P7. There's always glamour associated with motorsports. As you can see, the cars are there. A couple of places are empty on the grid. From what it looks like, it is Ruhan Alva, the P8. That's one of the spots empty. Remember, Ruhan won both the races yesterday. But right now, that could be his car in the middle of the track. But he's not on his starting position as Ruhan Alva. Maybe something wrong. We've got a couple of technicians there working with him. He'd be hoping that things get sorted out very, very quickly, because he's eyeing 3-on-3 now in this race is Ruhan Alva. 2 wins yesterday for him. Absolutely dominated the category. There's another one moving ahead. Now you can see Ruhan Alva making his way to the starting position. That's P8 for Ruhan Alva. That's the man who starts at P1, Aman Nagdev. He's getting a bit of advice when Raman caught up with him. decided not to disturb and then come back and have a quick chat with the young man. All focus and ready. And I think this is very, very good for Momentum Motorsports. They've got two right ahead on the front of the grid. That can allow them to dictate terms. If they both get a very good start, then certainly they can both get away with things. Kamal Kannan is a very, very aggressive driver. We've seen that. He needs to convert those good starts. He needs to convert those experience days into championship points. And if these two go on and get to the podium, the starters, the front row, that's Aman and Kamal Kannan, that'll be very, very good for the Constructors' Championship as well for Momentum Motorsports. 5 minutes away from the start of this race. You can see the confirmation there coming in with 5 written right there. So 5 minutes to go to start of the next race that will be in the JK Tyre Novice Cup category. So that's the confirmation again of the starting grid. We've got Aman Nagdev at P1, Kamal Kannan at P2. We got young Joel Joseph of DTS Racing in P3. Nitin Chaudhary coming in at P4. Chetan Saraneni had a good day yesterday, coming in at P5. Gaurav Kochar got one podium finish. He's on P6. Aditya Parasuram got 2 podiums. He's on P7. Winner of both the races, Ruhan Alva. He's on P8. Anvay Hem Rajani on P9. We've got Adit Parashar on P10, followed by Dhruv Soma and Naeem Rizvi locking up the 6th row.
Well, look at how things progress as you know, the grid continues. We've got a packed house. If you look at the number of cars on the grid, Karthikeya, you've got a total of 23 cars in the JK Tyre Novice Cup on the grid. So that just tells you the opportunity that's being given and the kind of interest that this category elicits, the JK Tyre Novice Cup. The fact that you've got a lot of young drivers trying to make their presence felt, trying to ensure that you know, they can move on and graduate from the Novice Cup into the Formula LGB4. So this is effectively the entry-level Formula racing car for a lot of youngsters who maybe you know, either are graduating from karting to racing, or for that matter, it's their first time in formal racing you know, on a racetrack. 3 minutes before the start of the formation lap. That's the news that's coming from the track.
Just getting some confirmation, there's a revised grid now on the starting lineup, while the front two remain the same in Aman Nagdev and Kamal Kannan GK. Third, Joel Joseph, and fourth, Nitin Chaudhary remains the same. Chetan Saraneni and Gaurav Kochar hold on to their position, but it is P8, and that is Ruhan Alva. He's now pushed down to P13. That's the change. That means that Anvay Hem Rajani is moved up to P8. Adit Parashar is up to P9. Dhruv Soma is up to P10. While we got Naeem Rizvi, who was initially at P12, has moved up to P11. And Prarthana Murugavel, who was P13, has moved up to P12. And P13 is now occupied by Ruhan Alva.
So effectively what that means is probably there was some sort of you know, protest that was lodged, and due to which places have been docked as far as Ruhan Alva is concerned, which is why you see that change of order on the grid, and he is now on 13th is Ruhan Alva.
We were talking about how interesting a challenge it will be for the youngster who's starting at P8. This gets even more interesting and slightly a bit more difficult for young Ruhan Alva. Starting at P13, it'll be interesting to track his movement, how he will try and move up places on this full circuit. But no such change as far as top of the grid is concerned, to Momentum Motorsports occupying that position in Aman Nagdev and Kamal Kannan GK. While they're going off for the formation lap, although some issue there for Kamal Kannan. In fact, for Aman Nagdev, didn't go off flying there, but eventually gets the car running and going. This is the formation lap. After that, we'll have 12 laps. We had the 2 races yesterday, both were 10 lap each, but this one will be a 12 lap race in the Novice Cup category.
Well, the big story is you've got the 2 Momentum Motorsport drivers who are in that front row, and they've got to try and make that count. That's the big story here. Can Aman Nagdev and Kamal Kannan make the most of the opportunity that they've got? Also keep an eye out for Nitish Chaudhary, who's on P4. He's another driver from Team Momentum Motorsport. So Momentum have got the momentum, to be fair, because out of the front 4, 3 of the cars are the cars of Momentum Motorsports.
Absolutely, 3 out of 4. And then you got Joel Joseph of DTS Racing also in the mix. And he's at P3. Then you've got Gaurav Kochar as well, who is also a Momentum Motorsport racer. He's in P6, so that's 4 out of the top 6 for Momentum Motorsports. They would be looking to dominate proceedings as you see the racers coming through the final corner of the formation lap. Car number 96, that's Nitish Chaudhary.
And he's just made way for car number 70. That's the car that belongs to Aman Nagdev, who, as you pointed out, Kartike, when the formation lap started, he didn't have the smoothest of starts. You know, his car just didn't throw the right gear or didn't get the gear in at the right time. Just stalled a tad at the start and therefore fell back.
Well, he must be hoping that whatever happens in the formation lap and not in the actual race, and he can get off to a flying start. So all the cars are getting back to the starting position on the grid. Everything seems to be okay, in order for a high action race in the Novice Cup category. 5 seconds to go to the start of the race. All red. And there you go. It's a decent start this time round for Aman Nagdev. And he's made a very good start. No problem this time round. As far as good starts are concerned. It's a very good start there for Chetan Suruneni as well. He's coming on the inside. But he holds on, does Aman Nagdev. So does Kamal Kannan in the 2nd position. Joel remains 3rd. And Chetan Suruneni is moved up to 4th. So not a very good start for Nitish Chaudhary, but he will be looking to move some paces ahead.
He took the risk, didn't he? He took the risk, the Chetan Suruneni, and that's the reason why he managed to squeeze his way past Nitish Chaudhary, and he is currently in 4th. But that's the way the pack runs at the moment. It's a packed grid, 23 cars on the grid in the JK Tyre Novice Cup.
So very good start for Aman Nagdev. This was a challenge for him. We'll have to wait and see how things go for Ruhan Alva as well. It seems to be a very good start for him too. Remember, he started at P13. He's moved up into the top 7 or 8 as we start to get some visuals. You can see a yellow car there in a moment. Yes, that's Ruhan Alva, car number 27. So he's had a very good start too.
And Jaden Parayat is in car number 5, was not too far behind Ruhan Alva. You'll see two yellow cars coming around the bend towards the straight now, but this is of course the leader back. And these are the cars. Ruhan, car number 27, still stuck about 7 paces behind.
Then you've got car number 8, that is another one of the M slow down, sliding off the track there momentarily for a minute. Adhit Parashar, car number 63, but he's back on the track. Asian performance. Still no such issues for Aman Nagdev and Kamal Kannan. They both had a very good start. They've both maintained their starting positions. Aman continuing to lead very closely, followed by Kamal Kannan. But it seems like for a moment of a second, yes, it is Kamal Kannan who's now the race leader. He's come up ahead of Aman Nagdev. Coming in car number 93 now, the race leader. That's a battle going on between Ruhan Alva and Nitish Chaudhary. Car number 27 of Ruhan Alva under pressure from Nitish Chaudhary in car 96, and there's the confirmation. The visuals confirm that it is Kamal Kannan in car 93 who's leading the pack. But there is a little bit of an issue for Nitish Chaudhary. He was trying to press hard, put some pressure on Ruhan Alva. Well, slightest of mistakes, and he's now slipped down while Ruhan makes move up ahead by one spot. He's putting pressure now on Gaurav Kocher too.
And I think Kamalakanan has gone past Aman Nagdev. So one Momentum Motorsports driver overtakes his teammate. It's still a 1-2 for Team Momentum Motorsports. But Kamalakanan in the race lead, Aman Nagdev in second, Joel Joseph still running third. Aditya Parshuram, who had a very good first day of the season yesterday, he is in fourth. Chetan Suraneni in fifth. Gaurav Kocher is running sixth at the moment. Lap times of the top five under 1 minute and 20 seconds. So comparing, what's happened so far, Karthikeya, you saw the kind of lap times that were being clocked by the Formula LGB4s, and those lap timings were close to 1 minute 18, 1 minute 19. So these young lads in the Novice Cup aren't too far behind.
Well, absolutely, they're matching their senior pros as far as timings are concerned. This is a replay of what happened, braking in there. Tires getting locked up for a moment, but avoiding any contact. But there, that's in the background. We're talking about Nitish Chaudhary slipping off the track, but luckily for him, he could continue to race as the two M Sport are comfortably leading. There's a battle now going on. Ruhan Alva has moved up to fifth. We're into lap number 3 now. Ruhan Alva has now moved up to fifth. He's pushing Chetan, and in fact, he's now moved up to fourth with that excellent maneuver from the outside. And Chetan drops back to fourth now. That's champion racing from Ruhan Alva. He'd be hoping that now he's going to break into the top 3. Pressure on Joel Joseph, the young racer from GTS Racing.
Absolutely, since he's overtaken Chetan Suraneni, Ruhan Alva is running fourth. Now this is the race leader, Kamalakanan in car number 93. Aman Nagdev in car number 70 is right behind him. We're clocking lap timings of around 1 minute 20 seconds and thereabouts, both these drivers. Then in third is Joel Joseph, followed by Ruhan Alva, followed by Chetan Suraneni. There's Aditya Parshuram in the scheme of things as well.
Chetan, in fact, has dropped further behind. He's gone, and Aditya Parshuram has moved up ahead of Chetan for the moment. And we've got this battle going on for third. We've got the likes of Joel Joseph, Ruhan Alva and Aditya Parshuram battling it out, while is Chetan, who's dropped further behind as they come through towards the end of yet another lap. Those are a confirmation. Kamalakanan leading the race. Aman Nagdev second, Joel Joseph third, Ruhan Alva coming in fourth, Aditya Parshuram fifth, Gaurav Kocher sixth. So Chetan Suraneni is dropped way behind there. He's on the 7th position. The car behind Gaurav Kocher. Kocher, remember, in car number 17. These are your race leaders. There's a slight battle going on for first and second. It's an intra-team battle on the M Sport going on. That Chetan Suraneni and Ruhan Alva there fighting with Aditya Parshuram.
Yes, the M Sport battle, of course, is you've got the likes of Ruhan Alva from Team M Sport. He'd be hoping to come up with the best performance that he can. There is also Jaden Pariat from M Sport, the other M Sport driver. So these are young talents who will be hoping to make their presence felt, but for the moment they're stuck in the mid-pack, trying to claw their way into the top 3-4, which is something that Ruhan Alva has managed so far, moving up to fourth. Can he go past Joel Joseph? That's the big question.
There's a lot of pressure on Joel Joseph at the moment because he's very closely followed by Ruhan Alva, and Ruhan will be hoping to make it back on the top of the podium, not once again, but no such issues for Kamalakanan and Aman Nagdev. They've opened a decent gap of around 4 seconds between themselves and car in third, and that's on Joel Joseph on your screen, followed by Ruhan Alva. Then there's Aditya Parshuram, Gaurav Kocher, Chetan Suraneni, and then there's Jaden, and there's an issue there, car number 18, that's Pranit Wadway. That's the end of his race. Oh, it doesn't make a difference as far as the top 5 and top 6 is concerned, but that is certainly curtains for him in this race.
Yes, that's the driver from Momentum Motorsports, Pranit Wadway, who is from Mumbai. His race has come to an end, but the 1-2 that Momentum Motorsports have in this race, that's still going strong. Kamalakanan in your picture frames, followed by Aman Nagdev. They, remember, are in the 6th lap, a beautiful bird's eye view of the Kari Motor Speedway in Coimbatore, full of the challenges that this track brings. It's right there for you to see. Beautiful drone shot bringing you those pictures live. What happened here? Was there an incident? Yes, there was a healthy tap from behind, and that involved Aditya Parsuram and Gaurav Kocha. They were in the running in the top 6, both of them, Gaurav Kocha and Aditya Parsuram, and they've both gone off the track.
Now things are getting interesting. Chetan Suneni, that means moves up into the top 5, with Ruan Alva moving up to 3rd. His team's overtaken. Jaden Pratt in top 6 now, with Kamal Karan continuing to lead. And it seems like, yes, it looks like the safety car would be deployed, and all the lead and all that gap that Kamal Karan and Aman Nagdev had built up over the 3rd, 4th, 5th spot racers, that will be taken away. So rescue car as well on the track. The yellow flags are out too. That's the safety car. Raman, you're talking about the safety car, the JK Tyre UX1 18-inch on that car, and obviously you're a big fan of the Star.
Well, yes, but the fire and rescue cars out as well, and one of the reasons for that is apparently there's a fuel leak on one of the cars that went off.
Very quickly on the spot, fire and rescue. Got the marshals there.
The recovery crew have reached there very quickly as well to ensure that they can take the car away.
So this is what happened. Ruan Alva and no issues, but coming in on the inside there, and that's the contact from Gaurav Kochar and Aditya Parsuram. Then I think the both tires got entangled in each other, couldn't get away, and just slid through straight out of the track. Try and get another angle of that incident very soon. That's the new angle. So Ruan Alva, the yellow car, no issues there, but that's the problem part. That's that contact between car number 17 of Gaurav Kochar and 15 of Aditya Parsuram. And you can see the tires got stuck in with each other and they just couldn't get away. At the end, both of them just move out of the track, and possibly it's the end of the race as well for both. So all the cars now following the safety car. That's the drone shot. The beautiful, picturesque Kari Motor Speedway. No overtaking allowed. Things seem to be in order. As you can see, the ambulance as well as the fire and rescue also making their way behind the cars. They'll go down into the pits by the end of the lap.
Yes, and that's the beauty of how this JK Tyre-FMSCI National Racing Championship's been conducted. There's absolutely no compromising the safety of the drivers. All protocols being adhered to, protocols put in place, adhered to the T to ensure the smooth conduct of the championship. The last thing that you want on a racetrack is an incident, but in case you get it, because this is motorsport, you need to be prepared for it, and that's something that we've seen from the organizers, that they are amply prepared to deal with whatever situation that arises, and you can see the prompt and effective response.
So very well done to the fire and rescue as well as the ambulance team, the marshals on the track, and now they will make their way out of the track, but the safety car still remains on the circuit, so we'll have to wait for at least another lap. Now you can see the cars are picking up pace, so possibly the safety car will go down into the pits. There is Abhilash and Abhilash on the racetrack. Abhilash driving the safety car, and his son Abhilash Jr. on the one of the Novus cars.
Keep an eye out on the blinking lights of the safety car. The moment you see those blinking lights of the safety car go off, it means that the safety car would be heading into the pit lane. So for the moment, of course, we're seeing the rescue and recovery team, the recovery team in fact in action, removing the two cars that were involved in that incident, cars involving Kocha and Aditya.
What a shot that for the Speedway, the Kari Motor Speedway. We're talking about this, the beauty of motorsports and beauty around this racetrack. You got mountains in the backdrop, you got windmills as well, you got coconut plantations, and just the beauty of all the racers following the safety car in one line. It's like little ducklings following the mother duck.
And not to forget, this is also the beauty of the camera work of the production crew that's bringing this live coverage to you. So the fact that you don't miss out on anything, you get all the action.
As you can see in the background, the crane is moving the two cars, so the safety car remains on the track. But now the lights have gone. That means it's going to go down into the pits, and we'll have a speed racing action continuing very, very quickly. So the safety car, the lights have gone off. That means that's the end of the safety car's duty on the track for the moment. And now this will be very interesting. The lead that both of them had built, that is Kamal Karan and Aman Nagdev, that's been taken away. That's disappeared. Now there'll be a challenge from Ruhan Alva. He'll be ready with an onslaught. He's in third, is Ruhan. Kamal Karan continues to lead. We've got Aman Nagdev in second. Ruhan Alva, the yellow car of M Sport, in third. And Abila, in fact, it's Joel Joseph and Chetan along with Jaden targeting after third. And Ruhan now trying to make the move on the inside, but no problem there. He just does it anyway. On corner 2, takes it the inside, and that's car number 28 of Prarthana Murugavel. Although the car is still running, she will join the race. But in the meantime, it is Ruhan Alva who's moved up to second as Aman Nagdev drops down to third. This is what happened with Prarthana, breaking in too hard, the brakes getting locked up, spinning all of the track, but as the engine was still on, she managed to get back racing.
Karthikeya, this is the 9th lap of what is supposed to be a 12-lap race, remember. It's a 12-lap race, the JK Tyre Novice Cup, so we're in lap 9, another 3 more laps to come after this as Ruhan Alva makes the move. Has he overtaken the M Sport drivers? In fact, overtaken the Momentum Motorsports driver there. That's great work by Ruhan, and Ruhan, well, look at that, one teammate smacking into the other.
Well, too much to take for Kamal Karan. GK was under immense pressure, and when Ruhan Alva had snatched the lead away, there was that extra determination from him to go further, go harder to try and take that lead back. But in the end, braking, skidding, and Aman Nagdev, who was following him, rams into Kamal Karan GK, and that means that Chetan Suruneni for the time being has moved into second. That's what happened, and the nose of the car goes flying. That's Kamal Karan's car, while his teammate Aman Nagdev also losing a few positions. No such problem for Ruhan Alva, who started at P13, has now moved up and is the race leader. Yellow flag is out. That means the safety car will be deployed again.
And I dare say, Karthikeya, the way it's gone, Ruhan Alva's overtaking maneuver might prove to be the decisive move in this race. The safety car is out, 9 laps done. This is the 10th lap that they're running right now. And I wonder if we're going to see more racing action in this race. If it's going to be behind the safety car, pretty much 2 more laps to go, Ruhan Alva might be happy to see the safety car ahead of him for those remaining 2 laps.
I don't think he'll be the one complaining, because 2 laps behind the safety car, nobody can overtake, and that means it's the checkered flag for Ruhan Alva. Chetan Suruneni, after that incident, has moved up to second. We've got another M Sport, that's Jaden Perret, who's moved up to third now. So 2 places on the podium at the moment for M Sport. Jaden, remember, got 1 podium yesterday, and he'd be hoping, would have certainly been hoping to get on the podium again today. But as far as things go now, remember, safety car out means no overtaking. It will go side by side, but in the end you'll have to allow the racer to stay in that position. So that means at the moment it's Ruhan Alva 1, Chetan Surneni 2 and Jaden Braid 3.
And how tables have turned. At one stage you had two Momentum Motorsport cars in the front row, and now that's just been absolutely blown away. There is no Momentum Motorsports car in the top four.
Like you said, they have the momentum. Can't say the same now. In fact, it's the M Sport that has the momentum. 2 out of the front 3 are M Sport. We've got another M Sport. That's car 9 of Naeem Rizvi in the top 6. Yes, Rizvi is in the 6th position. Anway Him Rajani is in 5th. Joel Joseph of DTS is coming in 4th. Jaden 3rd. And you got Chetan Surneni, who I think he's the one who benefited the most out of that collision between Aman Nagdev and Kamal Kanan. And he's moved up to 2nd. And Ruhan Alva, he is the race leader now, again following the safety car.
And I wonder if the track's been cleared, because I dare say from this angle it does. Love to take a closer look at the safety car to see the lights of the car. Back to racing action, are we? We'll have to wait and watch. See the safety car. Is he going to go into the pit lane? No, the lights are still flashing at the moment. We'll make out from another angle whether it does go into the pit lane. Look at the lights on the car. The blinker lights are on. Those blinker lights are what you got to watch out for. If those blinker lights are switched off, it's a clear indication that the safety car is going to head into the pit lane. But if the safety car's lights, those blinker lights are on, they're blinking, it's a clear indication to the drivers, stay in formation, do not overtake. The yellow flag is still out.
Well, you can see the train there at work in the background, so certainly the safety car will remain out for the final lap as well. So if we get the confirmation, we've got the checkered flag coming in after this lap, so that's the final lap coming in now. 11 laps are gone. Ruhan Alva is first, Chetan Surneni is in 2nd position, Jaden Braid is in 3rd, and because the safety car is out, that is how it would remain. Although, Raman, a quick question for you. Just before the final corner, if the safety car then goes into the pits, we've got a couple of corners left for these youngsters to go for it, in fact, because they might even, because there is a bit of a gap between the safety car and the racers.
And you can see the speed picking up on the safety car. I wonder if it's going to be just like a shootout towards the final corner. I wonder if that just the final straight, really, not the final corner, because the safety car, as it comes around that final bend, still keep an eye out on the lights of the safety car. Can we take a closer look at that? It's still blinking.
Well, it's still blinking. I mean, it's still going to be out there, but we know for sure that as far as the safety car is out, no overtaking is allowed. So that means it will be checkered flag for Ruhan Alva, Chetan Surneni will be 2nd, and Jaden Faryat will be 3rd. Good showing from young Ruhan. Remember, started at P13 and takes the checkered flag. So the safety car remains on the track, and that means it is a win for Ruhan Alva, taking the checkered flag. The young lad of M Sport. Coming in 2nd is Chetan Surneni. Jaden Faryat coming in 3rd. Joel Joseph in 4th. Anway Him Rajani in 5th, and Naeem Rizvi completing the top 6. It was an eventful race, but very, very well done. Not just by Ruhan Alva, but also Jaden Faryat. Both of them were not in the top 10 as far as the starting position of the grid was concerned. Slowly and steadily, they made their way, and eventually, they both find themselves on the podium.
Yes, you look back and you had Jaden in 17th on the grid. You had Ruhan Alva pushed down to 13th on the starting grid, and from that position, from 13th and 17th, one of the drivers from M Sport goes on and wins the race, Ruhan Alva, from 13th, while starting 17th, Jaden Faryat finishes 3rd. Great result for Team M Sport. Great result for these two young drivers. Chetan Surneni will take the 2nd spot. Chetan, remember, it started on P5, so he gained 3 places and has finished second in the race.
So he's made it a habit. He's made it a very good habit as Ruhan Alva is following in the footsteps of Amir Saeed, who got 12 out of 12 last season. But he's once again finds himself on the top of the podium, does Ruhan Alva. Chetan Suruneni will be delighted with this result too. He's in the mix of things. He's in the top 3, and Chetan getting his second podium of this round. Very well done by both of these young racers. Disappointment for Momentum Motorsports, disappointment for Kamal Kannan and Aman Nag. They just could not cope with the relentless pressure coming in from Ruhan Alva. First, Ruhan overtook Aman Nagdev, moved up to second. Then there was a lot of pressure on Kamal Kannan, and he moved ahead of Kamal as well. And the moment he overtook Kamal Kannan, you could see that Kamal Kannan was pushing so hard to trying to get that lead back, and in that process going a little too hard, braking, spinning, and once he spun on the track, Aman Nagdev, who was following him, smashed into his car. So that's the confirmation on the bottom left of your screen. The winner, Ruhan Alva, taking the checkered flag. Chetan Suruneni second, and Jaden Paryat coming in third. The race is over. The second race is done, and the drivers are now going through the mandatory weighbridge. It's an eventful race, a wonderful race for Ruhan Alva. Let's very quickly take you through the highlights. So it's a good start for both Aman Nagdev and Kamal Kannan. Both had started the front of the grid. In fact, it was a good start for Chetan Suruneni as well, and Joel Joseph. They're all occupying the front 4. A decent start for Ruhan Alva. Remember, started at P13. Car 27, Ruhan Alva. Aditya Parasuram also starting from P7 in the top 5. All had good starts initially. In fact, it was the duo of Aman and Kamal Kannan who had just moved ahead, way ahead. Got that lead. They built up a gap as well. Just sliding off the track for a moment there was Adhir Parashar. They'd opened up a massive gap initially, had Kamal Kannan. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Car number 93, Kamal Kannan, race leader. He was followed by his teammate Aman Nagdev, and then you see at least about a 3-4 second gap for the 3rd, 4th and 5th. And relentless was that man, Ruhan Alva. Car number 27 going tire to tire there with Aditya Parasuram. At the moment, there was no concern for Momentum Motorsports. They were happy with a 1-2 with Kamal leading and Aman in the second. Then this happened. Gaurav Kocher and Aditya Parasuram's cars getting entangled, and that brought the safety car out. And once the safety car was out, all the lead that the duo of Momentum Motorsports had built up was wiped away. It was evaporated, and that gave Ruhan Alva the opportunity to put some pressure on. There he goes past Kamal Kannan and gets the race lead, and now you can see Kamal will try and push too hard, coming in on the inside. Impact as well, contact from his teammate Aman Nagdev, and the nose of his car went flying. The safety car again came out with the yellow flags all around, and that's the law, that's the rule, no overtaking. And when the safety car is out, until the end of the race, the safety car remained. That means it was a straightforward, simple win for, in fact, straightforward, simple in the last couple of laps for Ruhan Alva. So Ruhan Alva taking the top spot, Chetan Suruneni second, and Jaden Paryat coming in third. So, considering that Ruhan Alva had started at P13 and Jaden had started at P17, this is a tremendous result there for both these M Sport drivers, and disappointment for Momentum Motorsport. Started at P1, P2, led the race, but once the safety car came out, all that lead that they had gathered, they had built up, that was wiped away and Ruhan Alva then put on relentless pressure, non-stop pressure there from Ruhan Alva to first move into second and then move into third. In fact, from third to second, second to the race lead. And once that happened, there was a collision between Aman Nagdev and Kamal Kannan. Both of them, in fact, lost a few places. Kamal Kannan's race came to an end, and who profited the most of that? That was Chetan Suruneni, who moved up to second, and came in third was Jaden. That's the man on your screen. Jaden Faryat coming in third. Starting at P17 to take a podium position. Certainly very, very impressive. Chetan Suruneni now coming on your screen, comes in second. Talking about Chetan. The lad from Bangalore, Quest Motorsports. And that's the race winner. He's made it a habit to be at top of that podium. Ruhan Alva. Taking a pause for the photographers.
Thank you so much for joining us on stage. Gentlemen, raise your trophies, raise your trophies.
Those are your race winners. Ruhan Alva, Chetan Suruneni, and Jaden Faryat.
A perfect touch with a man who's completed over 50 years in motorsports, being there at the novice trophy. Gentlemen, now you can remove your mask for one of the
They've come from the future to change the way we drive.
JK Smart Tire, buddy.
JK Smart Tire, the tire with a brain. The future of driving is here. JK Smart Tire. It's time to break free. Break away from the routine. To the greens. And get lost in the world within. To steer through, to stop. Start again. Go forth. Shed your inhibitions and just let it all go. With JK Tyre's Ranger 80, made of tough, made for adventure. For the ones who are wide at heart. JK Tyre, total control.
Well, Ruhan Alva seems to be making a habit of winning. It's his third consecutive race win. Congratulations, Ruhan.
Thank you.
Well, reverse grid kicking in, so you'd won the previous race. You should have started this on P8. Then the gearbox change pushes you back another 5 places. You start on P13 and you still go on and win it.
Yeah, went well from the start. I knew yesterday that we were going to take the penalty for the gearbox because I had a few problems in the second race. So knew I was going to start 13th, got a good start and had to be really aggressive to get to the front. Probably the hardest race of the weekend, but worth it.
Starting off the first round with an all-win record, that's quite an impressive start.
Yeah, I'm hoping to continue my streak.
Go well. I think it's well deserved. Now let's spare a moment for Chetan Suruneni because from Quest Motorsport, the team that he's representing, it's the first podium finish for Team Quest Motorsport. Congratulations to you, Chetan. Hard drive, well done.
Thank you so much. It was a very tough race. Extremely exhausting. That's about it.
Well, congratulations, savor the moment. And there's another fact. In the top 3, we've got 2 drivers from Team M Sport, if one were to look at how things went. Of course, Ruhan's one, Jaden's the other. Jaden started off on P17 and then to finish 3rd in a race. The two of you really getting through the pack.
Yeah, just again working like a team, trying to follow each other, get through the pack safely without any accidents. And I think we did an okay job. Sadly, I wish I could have fought for 2nd, but the safety car didn't allow me to.
Well, yes, the last couple of laps were completed behind the safety car due to an incident. And what a turnaround you get in motorsport. It was Momentum Motorsport who were on pole position and on the front row at 1 and 2. In the end, they unfortunately don't have a driver finishing in the top 3, and that's what motorsport brings to you. But let's focus on another story. The 2 guys here, the young fellows here, Ruhan and Jaden, they've got a lot of motorsport history in terms of family history as well. Your fathers have been rally drivers, isn't it? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, Dad's been rallying for a while now, maybe 20, 30 plus years. So carried on his heritage, been driving since I was 3, but officially got into motorsport professionally racing a year ago. So I'm karting and doing this racing together.
But Jaden, when you said you started driving at 3, I really hope, and to everyone else who's watching back home, it was while you were sitting in your father's lap like most kids do and holding onto the steering wheel.
Yeah, it was that, yeah.
Well, Ruhan, tell us a bit about your dad and how he's been an influence to your racing career.
Yeah, my dad too started rallying quite a while back. My dad and his dad rallied together. So he was the main reason I got into motorsport. He helped me realize my passion and get me into racing and has supported me all the way.
Young blood, they're following what the seniors have done and they're doing them proud. Congratulations, boys. Well done.
Thank you so much.
There's of course Jaden, there's Ruhan, and of course don't forget Chetan Suraneni for his wonderful drive that gets his team a very first podium of this particular JK Tyre Novice Cup. Back to Karthikeya in the commentary box. Well done, boys. Thank you. Cheers.
To the greens and get lost in the world within. To steer through, to stop. Start again. Go forth. Shed your inhibitions and just let it all go. With JK Tyre's Ranger 80, made of tough, made for adventure. For the ones who are wide at heart, JK Tyre, total control.
If you're hearing the revving of the bike in the background, don't be surprised. For all those of you who are looking forward to a weekend to get onto the two-wheeler, the bike that you love so much, and go out on that ride on the highway, well, let me tell you, we've shifted the action from the highway to the motorway, to the expressway, to the speedway, and that's exactly where we are, the Kari Motor Speedway in Coimbatore. And I am talking about this new category that's being added to the JK Tyre National Racing Championship, and that is the Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup. Now, a bike that always arouses a whole lot of emotions. To talk us through exactly what this championship holds, and of course the bike itself, I have here with me Kshitish Mehta, who is the marketing head for India for Royal Enfield. Great to have you.
Royal Enfield has always been, big on touring, right? And that's a side of the brand that everyone knows and enjoys and has loved for so long. But we also have a very rich heritage and legacy in motorsports. And we just felt that, with our new platforms, the twin platforms, we have a great, platform to really build on that and try and, get people onto our kind of motorcycle, motorsport, for retro racing, for classic racing, for old school racing in a sense. Essentially, it is a man and machine, right? A rider's skill that really made the difference on who wins and who loses. No rider aids, no electronics, right? So just your skill and machine that you have with you, right? And that bond that people share. So we wanted to really create or bring back some of the magic, and we have a great platform on the Continental GT Twin, right? I mean, from stock to race, some very minor but purpose-built functional changes that we've done to make it more race compliant and make it turn it into a real nice track tool. Starting with the fairing, so we developed this fairing designed in the UK and then made right here in India. We put race clip-ons.
Yeah, I love the grip,
and we've we've raised the rear foot pegs to give it that tuck-in on the bike. We have completely new stainless steel full system exhausts, which is the only performance upgrade that we've done. This is giving us about 12% more power. We've let the engine be, it's untouched completely, it's absolutely stock. We have new suspension settings, so we've added stiffer suspensions in the front and the rear with Gabriel, thicker oil, compression damping, etc., to allow riders to adjust for weight, and of course the race rubber, right, the soft compound tires. That's it. So these are the only things that you have from stock to the race, and all of this can be achieved in under 70,000.
That's what they call value for money.
Accessible, yeah. Our endeavor is to try and really broad-base motorsports, like we've done with touring. We've had great success with building a touring culture and community in the country, and the idea was to try and now look at motorsports and how we can really build up motorsports in India.
Well, what's motorsport if there isn't a dash of glamour to it? And no, I'm not providing the glamour, be assured. It's just the ladies who walk past to my left and right. They're the ones who are providing all the glamour, providing all the racing action. The guys on these wonderful Royal Enfield bikes, because JK Tyre presents the Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup. That's coming your way. And of course, on pole position is Anish. He won the race yesterday, the first race of round one. He's looking to do an encore today. All set, or are you getting a little distracted here, Anish?
Not really. I'm all set for the race. Let's hope for a good one with God's grace.
We had a fantastic battle with Alvin yesterday. We're looking for a repeat of that.
Definitely, yes.
Go well. Just quickly, before I let you go, how tough was it to handle this bike, given the kind of power that it's got?
Given the power, because it's heavy, it's quite gripping to the ground, the tarmac, and the tires are really good. So we're pretty comfortable riding the bike, and the engine power is really amazing. So it's altogether a great package.
Well, go well. We won't leave you. We won't really. We'll leave you for now and won't really trouble you too much more before the race. He's got a whole lot of things to think about. Alvin starts off on P2, remember, and there's Jayanta on P3. These three were podium finishers yesterday. Now, with just a few moments to go before the race commences, it's time for me to hand it back to Karthikeya in the commentary box.
Thank you, Raman. Certainly a bit of glamour there as well coming in, and we are in for race number 3 of the day, race number 7 of the opening round of the 24th JK Tyre-FMSCI National Racing Championship. So it is Anish Shetty who starts on P1, the race winner from yesterday. Alvin Xavier came in second yesterday, and Jayant Prathipati coming in third yesterday. It was indeed a very, very good contest between Alvin and Anish. That's the grid on your screen. Anish Shetty at P1, Alvin Xavier P2, Jayant at P3, Dheeraj Baikur at P4, Sudhakar P5, Rajkumar at P6, Pradeep at P7, Bharat Balan at P8, Anfal Akhdar, who started at P1 yesterday, starts at P9, Lokesh at P10, we've got Sam Paul Osborne at P11, Revadhar, the young man from JNK, Jammu and Kashmir, starting at P12, Naresh at P13, we got Zena Fernandez, Lani Zena Fernandez from Pondicherry at P14, Rohit Lad P15, Harshad Sumra P16, one of the media members Zaran Modi at P17, another media member Mutib Zoheb in P18, then we got Srinidhi P19 and the experienced Saeed Muzammal Ali starting right at the back of the grid. So again, 20 riders, 20 bikers on this track, 18 fighting for points and 2 media members getting a first-hand experience of the bike and also of the racing scenario. The formation lap is underway. We're expecting another tight contest and a fight between Anish and Alvin Xavier. They both went tire to tire, rim to rim throughout the race yesterday. And in the end, it was Anish Shetty from Hubli who took the checkered flag, with Alvin Xavier coming in second and Jayant Pratipati coming in third. .650cc of power in these bikes. Not much, just the, as far as the performance enhancers are concerned, only the exhaust has been slightly changed, has been weighted down. Generally, off for this bike, the it weighs around 12 kilos, the exhaust, but it's been slightly modified now. It's now just close to 6 kilograms. That's the weigh down of the exhaust of these bikes. Slight certain adjustments, obviously, based on the fact that from cruise bike module onto a racing track, so there had to be those little tweaks, little adjustments that had to be made. And now, with them being made, we've already had one race in this category, going in for the second one. It will be 10 laps of the JK Tyre Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup. Anish Damodar Shetty will start at P1. Alvin Xavier P2, bike number 10, I beg your pardon. Bike number 7, Jayant Pratipati. Bike number 17 of Anish got the checkered flag yesterday. As you can see, the back of the grid is a green flag. That means everything is in order. Seconds away from the start of this race. And off they go. It's a very, very good start there for Alvin Xavier as well. Challenger, that's Anish. And he is now the race leader. Anish will be that disappointed. Starting at P1, he's moved down to second, with Alvin Xavier taking the lead away. It's a very good start for Dheeraj Biker 2, who's on bike number 2.
It's a packed grid, of course, and these bikes are really packing a punch. For the moment, in the race lead is Anish. He's managed to get back into the race lead after a little stutter right at the beginning. Anish is back. Anish D. Shetty is back in the lead. And though for a moment you had a feeling that Alvin Xavier was charging and probably had the better of him in the first 50 meters or so, but on bike number 17, Anish Shetty is in the lead. Jayant Pratipati, in fact, has moved up to second, and dropping down to third is Alvin Xavier.
So after a very good start, a bit of disappointment there for Alvin Xavier. Initially taken the lead, but now it's Anish who's leading the race. Excellent comeback from him. Leaning towards the side that the bike is turning, just to maintain that balance coming into the final corner of the opening lap. And Anish Damodar Shetty from Hubli, he's opened up a sizable gap now between himself and the bike coming in second. Running as well there. And back now is Alvin and Jayant. It means second position. Alvin third. We got Sudhir Doctor coming in fourth at the moment. And a good start, but he's also dropped off. He's into fifth now. Pradeep started at P7, has moved up to the 6th position, but excellent stuff from Anish Damodar Shetty. He's very easily moved quite ahead and opened up close to 2.5 second gap between himself and Jayant. It'll be interesting to see by the end of number 2 how big is that gap. I have a feeling it'll be close to 3 seconds.
Also, the other thing is very, very clear about your breaking points, really, Karthikeya, and that's something that might be make or break a lot of these riders. Into lap 2 of what will be a 10-lap race around this Kari Motor Speedway. Technically, they're doing 23 kilometers because each lap is 2.3 kilometers. They're doing 10 laps. So overall, it's arduous in the heat in these circumstances with a bike that weighs about 180 kgs to do 23 kilometers of racing action.
We're talking about that gap. It's now more than 3 seconds between Anish and Jayant. 3.404. The gap that has been built up there by Anish. He's put in, I think, if I'm correct, that's the fastest lap. Albeit we've only had 2 laps, 1 minute 18. 2 seconds, so they are faster than the novice category, and in fact as equally quick as the LGB Formula 4.
Well, yes, remember these bikes are on a 650cc engine. The engine for the Royal Enfield on this Continental GT Twins has not been touched. It's the same engine that you'd get off the shelf if you were to ride a Royal Enfield GT Twin on the market, the stock as they call it. So this race bike, minor modifications which you were mentioning earlier, Karthikeya. Of course, the visor up front, the you know, the handle grips, so to speak, the modification in terms of weight on the special exhaust that make the bike a little lighter because the stock bike weighs over 200 kgs and thereabouts. So this one's been brought down to 180 just to make it a little more manageable for these bikers on a racetrack.
Coming to the end of lap number 3, continues to lead. And is opening up that gap that he built up is swelling up now. It's about 4 seconds between Anish and Jayant. Alvin Xavier is in the 3rd position, while Sunil Sudhakar in the 4th, and Pradeep has now moved up to 5th. A decent start for Anfal Akhtar as well. Anfal started at P9, he moved up to 6th. Remember, Anfal started at P1 in yesterday's race. Could not capitalize on that, and now is up to 6th, but no issues at the moment for Anish. It was a very, very tight race yesterday, and that competition that was there between Anish and Alvin Xavier till the very end. In fact, it was the very last lap when Anish made his move, took the lead and took the checkered flag.
Yes, and we were hoping for a humdinger today as well in this second race of this particular category in the round. We're 3 laps down into the 4th lap at the moment. And Anish Shetty has pulled up and got a sizable, almost 4.5 second lead over Jayant Pratipati. And the gap between Jayant and Alvin, albeit, is a lot lesser. So Anish, who you can see on bike number 17, he's got a healthy 4.5 second lead. Shot, the bird's eye view of the Kari Motor Speedway from the drone camera, capturing the windmills close to that skyline. Shot that. Just remember, this is the city of windmills as well as Coimbatore. Lovely weather as the evening sets in, the sun starts to set, the wind picks up. Beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. Now, getting confirmation that Alvin Xavier has moved up to 2nd, Jayant has dropped down to 3rd, and see that gap between 1st and 2nd. That's about 5.5 seconds now. So with every passing lap, Anish is adding 1 second to the gap there, and that gap is built between himself and the 2nd position. That's Anish, your race leader, bike number 17 on the screen. He's had no problem. He's been in terrific form throughout this round. Won the 1st race, and he's handsomely leading the 2nd one as well.
A couple of things that you've really got to watch out for is, as I said before, when you're on a bike as heavy as this, is your braking points, and of course the angle at which you're going into the corners at. You don't want to be braking too hard or going in on a tight corner. Now, the other thing you watch out for the biker is his stance. He's crouching down as low as possible on his bike, crouching forward to get behind that wind visor, and that's going to reduce the drag to the maximum. If you want maximum speed on the straight, crouching down to reduce the wind resistance, and you see them when in an upright stance a little when they're braking, because that's when they need to slow the bike down a tad.
To be honest, but yes, absolutely spot on there. They're behind the visor as soon as they get onto the straight, and making sure they get the best out of the bike as possible speed, and at the moment, no problem at all for Anish.
Yes, you try and create minimum wind drag, wind resistance. You're trying to get the best aerodynamic shape when you're crouching forward, going lower. And what he's doing is, Anish, as you can see, he's looking back time and time again to see exactly how far ahead is he from his nearest competitor, and he's not even sure, because I don't think he can see them. Even if he's turning back, he has absolutely no idea how far ahead he is, which is, for us, with the help of technology, we can tell you he's almost 6 seconds ahead of Alwyn Xavier, almost close to 6 seconds ahead of Alwyn Xavier.
Well, he did try and look behind and said, well, hang on, where's everyone else gone? And he's certainly built up a very, very healthy lead as Anish Shetty. We're into lap number 7 now. 6 laps have been completed, and that gap is now a shade under 7 seconds. Again, with every passing lap, 1 second gets added to the gap that he's built up as Anish Shetty. It's Alwyn in second, Jayant in third. That's how it finished yesterday as well. And Anfal Akhtar has moved up to fourth now.
And I get a feeling here, for if just thinking as a biker, if you're Alwyn Xavier, what's your thought? You're almost now 7 seconds, close to 7 seconds behind the race leader, Anish Shetty. Anish is way ahead, and we've got an incident, one of the bikers sliding off the track, and that seems to be Mutib Zoheb, I get a feeling, who's one of the invitee bikers who is on the grid. He runs a wonderful blog on social, or a vlog on social media as well on biking. There are two members of the media who've been invited as guest drivers for the round, or guest riders for the round. Mutib Zoheb and Zaran Modi are those two. And I thought that was Mutib Zoheb, whose bike had just kind of slid off.
Well, that's the end of his race, that's for sure. But as a very smiley character, he's a very happy chap with you when you meet him outside the racetrack.
We'll, of course, wait for official confirmation of that. But from a distance, though, it did seem as if that was the case. But we'll wait for official confirmation. What we do have official confirmation of is Alwyn Xavier is ahead of Jayant Pratipati. Well ahead of both of them is Anish Damodar Shetty, who's... I wonder what's happened here. He's almost 7.5 seconds ahead of Alwyn Xavier. You can't even see Anish Shetty in the frame right now.
Well, it was 6.7 seconds at the end of the previous lap. The gap now is 7.6 seconds. There he is.
That's the race leader, yeah.
That's Anish, and he's way, way ahead, close to about 8 seconds ahead of Alwyn Xavier, who's in second. The gap, though, between Alwyn and Jayant isn't much. It's just 0.639 seconds. So there still might be a tussle on for the second and third spot. And Anfal Akhtar is not very far behind either. He started at P9, he's moved up to fourth. So that's a brilliant display as well from him. Sudhir Sudhakar, he'd be a tad bit disappointed. He's dropped down to fifth now. Pradeep is on sixth, while Anish comes in from the final corner again onto that straight, and then crouching again, as Raman was telling. And then come the second, third and fourth placed Alwyn Xavier, Jayant and Anfal Akhtar respectively. That gap again, Raman will keep an eye on that, at 7.8 seconds now.
Yes, and also keep an eye out on Sudhir Sudhakar, who is in the top 5, trying to vie for podium positions. But this is the crucial phase. 9th lap in progress, one more lap to come after this. Anish Shetty is way ahead. He's almost 8 seconds ahead of his nearest competitor. So he's just got to keep a cool head and make sure that he just stays on course. The challenge is for Alwyn Xavier, if he can stave off Jayant Pratipati, who's pushing hard to move up to second.
Well, then that's the battle to keep an eye out for Alwyn and Jayant for the second spot. It's not much of a difference between the two, just half a second. And one slight mistake, and that could be it as far as a podium finish or not, or a second place or a third place finish as well, as they're coming through towards the end of lap number 9. And after that, just one lap remaining. Still a few corners for Jayant to capitalize, utilize and try and move into the second position. That's your race leader again on the screen, Anish Shetty. who is well ahead. And that's a issue. He slid off there as a giant. He was trying to put in a lot of pressure on Alvin Xavier, just not able to control that bike. And look at that. That tells you how heavy that bike is. He's struggling to pick that up.
Exactly, which also tells you that if you lose your balance on the racetrack and your bike goes down, it's not that easy to get the bike up and running and get back and rejoin the race, which is something that he's now trying to do, is Jayanta, but I dare say his points, hopes of finishing amongst points, I think have gone up in smoke. What it's done is it's put Anfal Akhtar in a podium position. He's now running third. This is what happened. Take another look at it. Just went a little too much on the tilt, the angle doing him in as he came out of the curve.
When he tried to lift the bike as well, we saw was near impossible, but eventually he got it up, got on the bike, and is looking to rejoin the pack. But Anfal Akhtar has benefited. He's moved up to a podium position, as Raman said. Sudhir is in fourth now, and Pradeep has moved up to fifth. Anish Shetty, the race leader, coming through the final corner of the final lap. Looks behind just to see is anyone there. He knows. He started to celebrate already even before he got to the checkered flag. In come Alvin Xavier for the second, and in bike number 5, Anfal Akhtar coming in third to complete the podium. Well, the 1-2 remains the same as far as the podium is concerned. It is Anish Damodar Shetty from Hubli who takes the checkered flag. Alvin Xavier from Thrissur coming in second, and his city mate Anfal Akhtar takes the third position on the podium. So starting from P9 to take third on the podium, he has a little bit of Giant to thank as well, with Giant chasing down that second position, slipping, and that allowed him to move up to third. The celebrations have already begun for Anish Shetty.
The difference in terms of timing, he was 8.5 seconds, in fact 8.643 seconds ahead of Alvin Xavier. What a fantastic race for Anish Damodar Shetty. He's going to be a happy lad.
And this is interesting, Norman, because during qualifying, the difference between the fastest and the slowest was around under 3 seconds. And now, if you come to the race scenario, that's the difference between first and second is 8.6 seconds. So that tells you how dominant was Anish Shetty.
Agree with you totally, Karthikeya.
So that's the result, the final result as of now, with Anish Shetty taking the checker flag. We've got Alvin Xavier coming in second. Giant, at the very last moment, the last or the second last laps, slid and slipped, which allowed Anfal Akhtar to occupy the third spot on the podium. The confirmation of winners on the bottom left of your screen. Anish with the first position, Alvin coming in second, and Anfal coming in third. All A's at podium 1, 2 and 3. It was a dominant performance from Anish. Let's very quickly take you through the highlights of how dominating Anish was and this eventful race in the JK Tyre Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup category. So after the formation lap, the bikers got into position. It's a very good start initially for Alvin. He moved up, took the lead, but very quickly Anish said was having none of it, and he took that lead back from him, and since then he continued to dominate and well opened that gap between himself and whoever was second, lap after lap after lap. Initially he was about a couple of seconds ahead, and by the end of the race he was close to 9 seconds ahead of his nearest rival. The Irish biker too, who had a decent start but could not capitalize on that. You can see throughout these highlights the gap that he has. There's no one in the background as far as Anish is concerned. He did try and look behind to see who's coming in next, but obviously was no one till about good 100 odd meters. That means he had done a very good job. The technique that he followed was also spot on. The moment got onto the straight, crouched his body behind the visor and made sure got the minimum drag, wind drag that is, and get the best out of the bike, the top speeds that he could. This was the battle for second and third between Alvin Xavier and Giant. Just in the end, that's where Giant lost the balance, got off his bike, and that allowed Anfal Akhdar, who was in fourth, to move up to third. And the celebrations had already started for Anish Shetty, as he knew he was going to get the checkered flag. No problem at all for him. As you see, he comes down for the final time on that straight to go to the checkered flag, and you can see he looks behind and then starts celebrating in the final lap, in the final moments. So that's the third race done for the day. Terrific, dominating performance there from Anish Shetty, getting the checkered flag once again. Alvin Xavier also maintaining his place on the podium from yesterday. He comes in second, and Anfal Akhdar comes in third to complete the podium spots. Those are the three winners, and now going into the prize distribution ceremony. There will be a prize distribution ceremony very shortly. Congratulations all around for Anish Shetty. That's the man on your screen in the black helmet, Anish Damodar Shetty from Hubli. 2 races and 2 wins for him. It's a pat on the back for Alvin as well. There's the Alvin Xavier on the left of your screen, the lad with the longish hair. He's got a smile on his face too. That's Anfal Akhdar, who came in third, picks up his trophy and takes his place on the podium. It is a hot day, you can see a bit of sweat for Anfal. I think finding your place on the podium takes all of that away, and you enjoy that. Zolvin there coming in, congratulating his rival on the track, but great to see friends off the track as well. Alvin Xavier, second place finish for him. And that's the race winner, Anish Shetty. Second win out of 2 races. He's absolutely dominated this category, the Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup. 2 wins out of 2. Getting their checks for the wins. Second runner-up, Anfal Akhdar, getting 10,000 rupees. $20,000 for first runner-up. That is Alvin Xavier. And 30,000 rupee check for the winner, and that is Anish Damodar Shetty. So with their mementos and their checks, all smiles behind those masks, striking a pose for the photographers. So that's the result of the third race, second of this category. That's the Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup. Now we await the final race of the weekend, and that will be of the LGB Formula 4 category. Wonderfully done by Anish. Deserves all the credit that he gets, all the applause that he's getting. So he's been absolutely dominant. We had Vishnu win the race earlier in the LGB category, so that will be interesting as well. Tilji to start it right at the back of the grid because of a penalty for technical infringement. He'd be hoping to be amongst the podium finishers later on in the next race. Not very far away, as you can see. The cars are already out there, the LGB Formula 4. Got the safety car right in the middle, and then a full grid. As far as the next race is concerned, we'll have all 26 drivers, unless last minute something happens and they're not able to take part. It will be a 26-member full grid. Now we'll go trackside after the prize distribution. Robin is catching up with the winners.
Well, of course, you're watching live pictures that are coming your way. We've got the podium finishers here with us. We'll have a quick chat with them very, very soon. Anish, what a fantastic run for you today, and an emphatic win. I think, what, 8.7 odd seconds ahead of your nearest rival?
Yeah, so I just put the hammer down right after the first lap. Just had to keep my focus on for the 10 laps and just keep it pinned, and there's the lead. I pretty much got a second every lap, and it was a good race, and by the 7th lap I saw it was a good lead, and I a little bit compromised on my riding so that I don't risk it anywhere, but overall a great race, and a big thanks to JK Tyres, Royal Enfield and Aspipathena for a wonderful job. Thanks for this opportunity, guys. Here's the win.
He's got a wonderful smile on his face, and let me also let everybody know, if you saw his celebration in the lap post crossing the checkered flag, that was something to watch out for as he went around the corners, lifting one leg and then the other. But very quickly, I'll have a quick chat with you, Alwyn. A close race for you, because there was always a battle on between you and Jayant for that second spot. You were holding him off till, unfortunately, Jayant skidded off.
Yeah, it was a nice race. I got the start, but still I was struggling with the front brakes. So in every hard braking points, I was struggling a lot. So I did 7 to 8 mistakes. So Anish got the gap to build up because I was doing mistake and all. But still, after 7th lap, I saw Anfield behind me. So there was a gap. So I thought, oh, okay, chill. Second, okay. It was a fantastic race.
Absolutely, a second place finish for the second time in round 1. Go well.
Yeah. And thanks to Royal Enfield and JKTS for providing these wonderful bikes and wonderful tires. Thank you.
Congratulations. And let's have a quick chat with Anfal, who went on to finish 3rd. They say that someone's misfortune becomes someone's, a gift, and that's what turned out to be for you. But a hard-fought 3rd place finish.
Yeah. Actually, I want to finish podium in yesterday's race, and I done a mistake in C1, and I also get an arm pump and leg pump issue, muscle cramps. So I couldn't finish. I finished the race, but I started races from 20th and finished on 9th yesterday. And today I started from 9th and finished on 3rd. So I'm happy for that, because I have struggled a lot, because I'm still having that muscle issue, muscle cramps. So only my target was to finish in the podium. That's all. Thank you.
Congratulations. Enjoy and savor the moment. That's it from the presentation area.
Right then, that was Raman catching up with the winners of the Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup Race 2. And now we're in for the final race of the weekend. Race 2 in this category, that's the LGB Formula 4. We'll have 15 laps in this race, not far away from the start of the race. As you can see, the cars are lined up. The technicians are slowly and steadily making their way out off the grid. Final last-minute tweaks, adjustments being made. This will be very interesting. Remember, Vishnu Prasad, the former champion, won the race earlier today. 3 minutes to go before you can hear the engines roar, the tires rev. On your right of your screen, car number 7, that's Diljit TS. Now going back to Raman, who's on the track.
Now we're all set for the Formula LGB4 race to get underway. It's going to be the last race of the day, and you can clearly see just about under 3 minutes to go for the formation lap. In fact, the cars are already on the grid. So without much further ado, let's head straight into race action. It's back to you, Karthikeya, and this promises to be exciting fare.
Absolutely, Raman. We've got a couple of dark dawns starting in the grid. In fact, it's a dark dawn domination. We've got the front 4 locked by dark dawn. It'll be R Racing starting at P1, Diljit TS at P2, Sandeep Kumar at P3, Ashwin Datta at P4. Then you've got Vishnu Prasad and Sohail Shah of M Sport in P5 and 6, Diljit Rao of Dark Dawn in P7, Raghu Rangaswamy of M Sport in P8. Then you've got 2 M Sports of Meera Ereda in P9 and Bala Prasad in P10. Chirag Ghorpare of Momentum Motorsports in P11. Amir Saeed starts off at P12. Then you got Mohammad Ryan in P13, Anushya Gulati in P14, Chitesh Mandodi in P15, Yukeshwaran Krishnavelu in P16, Mohit Aryan P17, Vaibhav Parker in P18, Mehul Agarwal starts off P19 with Akshay Kapoor in P20. You got Shrey Diwan P21, Ashok Lal starting off at P22, Priyanshu Talyan in P23. We got Jasmeher Singh Juwal 24, Bashir in 25, and Muskan Jubal in P26. So that's how the grid looks. There seems to be a little problem there for Jasmeher Singh Juwal, car number 33, as you can see. Appears to be, yes, Jasmeher is the one. And apart from that, there seems to be another car missing. That appears to be Mohit Aryan. It's Mohit Aryan there, who's not found his place on the grid. In fact, Mohit and Mehul Agarwal, a couple of you see on the top left of your screen.
Remember, Mohit was involved in an incident in the first race of the Formula LGB4 category this morning.
So off they go for the formation lap, 1 lap, and then after that they'll take their places back again on the starting grid, and we'll have 15 laps of LGB Formula 4 action. It is something, if you are a Dark Dawn fan or a Dark Dawn team director, you'd be delighted with how the grid looks. It's a front 4 locked by Dark Dawn, and M Sport will have to do something extraordinary to come up and win the race. And when I say win, get top of the podium. Then you got a few M Sport as well behind. You got Vishnu Prasad, Sohail Shah, Raghu Rangaswamy, Meera Ereda, Bala Prasad. All of these in M Sport. You got Tijil in P7 in his Dark Dawn. Young Amir Saeed starting at P12 for Ahura Racing. Anushya as well from Ahura Racing. Mohammad Ryan again, M Sport. Chirag Ghorpare, Momentum Motorsport. Former and multiple time champion, national champion, Chitesh Mandodi. He will be starting at P15 in his Avalanche racing car. Comes from Kolhapur. Chitesh is a very, very experienced campaigner. And this will be a very, very keenly fought contest, Raman.
Oh yes, the field is very, very competitive in the Formula LGB4 category. This, remember, is the last race of the day as well. And if one were to look back and see what happened in the first race of the day in the Formula LGB4, Vishnu Prasad notched up a win. Vishnu, looking back at what happened yesterday, didn't have the best of races still, thanks to the run of events, managed to finish amongst points with a 6th place finish for him. So how things are lining up, I dare say Arya Singh, who starts off today as well on pole position for Dark Dawn Racing, he's got some points in sight because Arya, if one were to look back at the revised race results of race 3 of yesterday, had a race win under his belt. So now with a pole position to his name, can he notch up another race win and take away 20 points out of a possible 30? That's going to be the big, big question. The start delayed, albeit there's a little anti-climax to the final race of the day.
Well, it's certainly sunny, bright, tad bit hot as well, I think. That's an understatement.
Tad bit?
That's an understatement. I think with every passing minute, all these drivers have to be sat in their car with that racing suit on, under the helmet. You know, fitness has to be of their peak levels if they have to go through all this and then compete in a 15-lap race as well. So we've seen a few drivers, met them yesterday, beefed up a bit. Ashwin Datta as well, Diljit TS among those. Certainly a bit of gaining a bit of weight. And I think by the end of the round, they do drop a few kilograms as well off their body weight. So I think it's all right to gain some as long as you can lose some.
I think the big challenge for most of these drivers is the fact that driving this race car is quite a challenge in these conditions. You need to have that muscle strength as well because your fitness does get tested. As you talked about the dehydration that can set in if you're sitting in the sun over a long period of time in these cars, it can get hot. Dehydration can set in. That can result in cramps as well for these drivers. So it's challenging. These conditions can be challenging. And then to keep your focus going, I think credit to these drivers for maintaining their fitness levels and still putting in the performances that they are.
Absolutely, and I think just because how sports have evolved, not just motorsports, other sports as well, over the last few years, last decade or so, fitness has become one of the key components of sports around the world, and the Indian racers as well. They know what needs to be done to stay in the best of conditions so that they can get the best of results as well. So another formation lap underway here, as was a delayed start, so we'll have another formation lap and then we get down to the business end, and that's the 15 laps of the LGB Formula 4.
I think another opportunity just to make sure that the tires are kept warm on the car. Going through the formation lap, just make sure that you're trying to get the optimal out of these tires. It's going to be a 15-lap race, so this is one of the longest races that's being run this time around in the 24th edition of the JK Tyre-FMSCI National Racing Championship. And because it's that 15-lap race, it's long, it's going to be arduous, it's going to be demanding on the drivers.
So if all goes well in this formation lap, things go okay, we'll be ready. And now we see one of the M Sport cars dive down into the pits. Is that Sohail Shah? We'll just get that confirmation in a moment. You can see on the right of your screen the yellow car has gone into the pits. That's not a good sign. Already you got 4 Dark Dawns up front, locking the first and the second row on the grid, and then you lose 1 M Sport. That's certainly not a very good sign. You can see on the left of your screen there's some work being done on that car. And in fact, if I'm correct, if I'm getting the right information, it is Raghul Rangasamy who's gone into the pits. P8 seems to be empty from one of the angles that we can see. And off they go, so no participation for Ragul as far as this race is concerned. Very good start for Arya Singh, starting at P1. He's maintained that advantage. Diljit TS is following him. Then you've got one of the M Sport has in fact overtaken the car of Ashwin Datta and Diljit TS as well. So one of the M Sport has moved up to third now with Arya Singh and Diljit TS in first and second. We'll quickly get you that confirmation who that is, but at the moment it is...
I can tell you it's Vishnu Prasad. It can't be anybody else. It has to be Vishnu Prasad. He's the guy who's darted in and split that top four into half.
And in fact, we've got another M Sport now catching up, moved up to 6th as well. So a decent start there for Vishnu Prasad, starting from P5. He's gone up to 3rd position with car number 34.
And I get a feeling that Sohail Shah has also moved up. He's now in 6th at the moment, is Sohail. In fact, that's the position that he started off in. So he's running 6th, is Sohail, the other M Sport driver. It's still 4 out of the top 5 are Dark Dawn drivers at the moment on the grid. Is that the way it's going to stay, is the big question. Race leader is Arya.
There's been a lot of pressure now. You can expect that from Vishnu Prasad to come up, go charging for Diljit TS, who's in 3rd, and this makes a recipe for a very, very exciting race.
And I also get a feeling this could just be the time where Diljit TS's experience is going to try and come in handy, because he's going to try and make sure that can he let Vishnu Prasad... Oh, he's gone past him, and very cleanly at that is Vishnu. In just a flick of a second, he's gone past Diljit as well as Vishnu Prasad.
So we were talking about that. There'll be a pressure, just a bit of pressure. No, not at all. There'll be a lot of pressure on Diljit TS, and that's exactly what Vishnu's done. He's moved up to 2nd now. He's pushed Diljit TS back, and now he will be targeting Arya Singh.
Now remember, if you're looking at the screen and the graphic on the screen shows Vishnu Prasad in 3rd and Diljit in 2nd, but please rest assured, Vishnu Prasad is running 2nd, not 3rd. This graphic will get updated at the end of the lap, because the timers on the timing device on the car gets updated as the cars cross the start finish line. So at the end of the lap, if you're looking at just the graphic, you'll see it happen now as these cars go past the start finish line. You'll see the positions interchanging for Diljit and Vishnu Prasad.
Diljit is now making a run for it. In fact, he's done it as Diljit TS. He's taken the 2nd position away, while Arya Singh goes straight through. Gears were locked, couldn't turn, and he's come back on the track through that straight. There will certainly be a penalty or you know, at least an inquiry in that. But Arya Singh does continue to lead the race for the moment. Diljit TS has come back 2nd now. Vishnu's been pushed back to 3rd. Then you've got Sandeep Kumar in 4th. And there's another M Sport in 5th. What happened there with Arya Singh?
I think he completely missed the braking point on the straight, did Arya. A little problem there, but recovering just as quickly was Sandeep Kumar. I think he braked late, almost skidded off the track before he got back on. And we'll take another look at that on the replay. There you have it.
Got it spot on. Raman brakes there, and then luckily for him, he spins and he's still in the middle of the track. The car is facing the right way as well.
And luckily for Tijil Rao too, because Tijil Rao was coming right behind him. A slight contact of the tires between Sandeep's car and Tijil Rao's car, but Tijil Rao's car is running and so is Sandeep's.
Well, we're coming to the end of the 3rd lap, and we've already had so much action in this race. We've got another 12 laps remaining. It's Arya Singh who leads. Diljit TS is in 2nd, and Vishnu's in 3rd. In fact, followed by Sohail. Is that Arya Singh again? Yes, that is Arya Singh again, who's, well, he certainly lost a few places there. Joins the other race in the middle of the track. As you can see, that red car, that's Amir Saeed, the youngster. And now it's Diljit TS. We had 4 Dark Dawns in the front 4, and now it's 2 M Sport against 1 of Diljit TS in the front 3. There'll be a lot of pressure now on Diljit TS. Raman, you were talking about the experience that he has. This is the best time for him to use it. After those 2 M Sport, then comes the brigade of Dark Dawns chasing the pack. Diljit TS still leading. Then you got Vishnu Prasad and Sohail Shah hot on the heels of Diljit TS.
Really surprising as far as Arya Singh is concerned. missing the breaking point on the straight, not on one lap, but on 2 laps consecutively. It just tells you there's so much pressure at times on these young lads. Some of the youngsters on the grid are getting pushed, and I think as a race leader, he'd be kicking himself that he frittered the race lead away. But now it's up to Diljit, another Dark Dawn Racing driver. Can he hold off the 2 M Sport yellows that you can see on the screen, chasing him down?
Well, it is on the straight that he started that maneuver in the last lap, and at this time it's Vishnu now who's done the same. He's returned the favor and overtakes, takes the lead, gets the lead back, does Vishnu Prasad. Diljit TS drops down to second now with Sohail Shah chasing him on third. Then come the couple of other Dark Dawns, and you've got Chirag Ghorpade as well in the mix in 6th position. This is epic from Vishnu Prasad. Had a very, very good race earlier today. Now Diljit TS trying to make his move on the inside. And can he get that lead back? Yes, he can. Diljit TS and Vishnu Prasad are going at it, one after the other. This is like a boxing match. You throw one punch, I'll throw another one. And on this occasion is Diljit TS, who's back in front. Vishnu drops down to second. There's Ashwin Datta in 4th, who's chasing now Sohail Shah.
Yes, and there is Sandeep Kumar as well, who's running in 5th. So there's a national champion there in Sandeep Kumar, who's saying, hang on, don't count me out just yet. He's the defending champ. He's saying, I'm gonna make a dash for it. There's also a former national champion, Diljit, who's leading, multiple-time national champion, Vishnu Prasad, who's running 2nd. This is promising to be a very exciting race. Another young talent, Sohail Shah in 3rd.
Well, this is as entertaining and exciting as it gets now. Ashwin Datta on the inside was trying to make his move, stays in 4th, while you can see the confirmation is screen after 5 laps. It's Diljit TS who's leading, albeit for the moment, I can say, because the way things are going between Diljit and Vishnu, things can change very, very quickly as far as the race leader is concerned.
Remember, I had a chat with Ashwin Datta last evening. He said, I didn't have the best of days, and I can assure you, those were not his exact words. The adjective that he used to describe his day is something that I cannot share on air, but he was very disappointed with himself, having messed up the first race of the Formula LGB4 of round 1.
In the meantime, it is Vishnu who's now taken that lead back from Diljit TS, and now Sohail Shah also putting pressure on Diljit on the inside. Will he be able to make it a 1-2 for M Sport? Yes, at the moment that is how it looks. It's Vishnu who's now leading the race. Diljit TS has dropped down to 3rd now, and Sohail Shah has moved up to 2nd with Ashwin Datta following in 4th. In fact, it is Sandeep Kumar who's moved up to 4th. Ashwin's dropped down to 5th with Chirag coming in 6th. This is tremendous from Vishnu Prasad. Now, I think Sohail Shah will have his task cut out to make sure that Diljit TS doesn't pass him, so that Vishnu now can make his take the lead further. And they say motorsports an individual thing, and forget about individual. You're talking about Sohail Shah holding off Diljit TS. In fact, it's Sohail Shah who's taken the lead. He's taken it away from his teammate Vishnu.
That is the beauty of the competition that exists among drivers on the same team. And of course there is, as you said, teamwork as well in motorsport. When you're trying to garner positions for your teammate, which is fairly legal within the framework of the rules, if you're holding on to your racing lines, and that in fact is also staving off the challenger and not allowing him to catch up. If it's well within the framework of the rules, you can continue to do it.
So now the competition, the contest is certainly on, and I think with Vishnu holding his line, that may allow Sohail Shah to open up a bit of a gap. You can see it's already slight, albeit, but it is now. The onus is now upon Diljit and Sandeep Kumar and Ashwin Datta to make things happen. Otherwise, the two M Sport in Sohail Shah and Vishnu Prasad will be delighted if it finishes like this right now. As you come through the final corner of another lap, this is car number 24, Sohail Shah leading, followed by Vishnu Prasad, then the 4 Dark Dawns, and then is Chirag coming in the 7th position. Diljit Rao is 6th at the moment. He started at P7. He's moved up 1 position. Diljit TS has dropped down to 3rd with Sandeep Kumar closely following him, and he's followed by Ashwin Datta. So we'd all be talking about Vishnu Prasad and Diljit TS exchanging leads, exchanging blows, and suddenly we have Sohail Shah, who is now the race leader. This is tremendous. Any of the top 6 right now can win the race.
And I was just reminded of what happened a little while ago when we saw the second race overall of round 1 for the Formula LGB4. It was the first race of day 2 as well, where you had on the podium a very young but very talented Amir Saeed as well, who's racing for Ahura Racing. And there were 3 drivers of 3 different racing teams on the podium, because you had a driver in Chirag as well, who was on the podium from Momentum Motorsports. Vishnu, of course, won that race for M Sport. So you've got 3 wonderfully talented drivers across different age categories coming through the ranks. A couple of them, and one of them a seasoned campaigner, Vishnu, on the podium. So this category really tells you that this is as good as it gets in racing.
I think during the good part of that race, there was a good challenge as well from Amir Saeed on Vishnu, and for a fraction of a second he did take the lead away, but as he said, did not teach him all the tricks. Did Vishnu, because they were together in M Sport last season, and he was mentored by Vishnu, was Amir Saeed, but it was this corner itself when Vishnu got the lead back. Vishnu was tested by young Amir Saeed, so that's a very good sign for the future as far as Amir Saeed is concerned. But right now, talking about the present, it is Sohail Shah who's leading, Vishnu Prasad in second, Diljit TS in third.
And we talked about Amir Saeed. So Amir Saeed at the moment is in the top 10, but he's not really in the top 5 and trying to push for a podium finish just yet. We're in the 9th lap of the race, another 6 laps to come after this.
Just had a fastest lap from Diljit TS as far as his personal laps are concerned. 1 minute 18.451. That's his fastest lap in this race. So he's certainly putting on some pressure, at least trying to put some pressure on Vishnu Prasad. He's closed up that gap. Now, the front 4 and then the 5, 6, 7, there's a slight gap between the 4th and the 5th. That is Sandeep Kumar and Ashwin Datta. You mentioned Ashwin wasn't clearly happy with how things went yesterday. He'd want to get that right.
Oh yes, he's very focused, very, very focused, the young lad, and which is why he was disappointed with the errors that crept in, and that didn't lead to the kind of result that he wanted. He's a very talented driver, and I'm sure he's looking to put his best foot forward today.
Absolutely, and Sohail in the meantime continues to lead. That's your race leader on the screen, Sohail Shah. Vishnu Prasad doing, I think, as you said, what is in the legal framework, doing a very good job of shielding the race leader. That's his teammate, while Diljit is in third. Diljit round now trying to get on the outside, but Vishnu, the experience that he has, he knows that what could come next. He's anticipating that, he's prepared for that, and they're just waiting. It seems like they're just waiting, Diljit and Sandeep Kumar, to just wait for that one moment and make their move. Look at that gap starting slowly, albeit it's just under a second, but gap is a gap, and he's starting to build up as Sohail Shah.
And he's doing well. He's got a gap of just about a second between him and Vishnu Prasad. In a race like this, the Formula LGB4, that's very competitive. A gap of around a second is at times huge. Diljit in third, Sandeep Kumar in fourth. Tijil Rao is running fifth. Chirag Ghorpare, the third place finisher in the previous race, is currently running sixth. And you can see that blue car come around. That's Chirag, but on your picture frames, this is Vishnu Prasad in car number 6, followed by Diljit TS, followed by Sandeep.
Best laps for Diljit TS and Sandeep Kumar as far as their own best laps are concerned in this race. 1 minute 18.038 seconds for Diljit TS, 1 minute 18.004 seconds for Sandeep Kumar. So clearly they are not giving up. In fact, they are putting up a good challenge, trying to chase down the race leader Sohail Shah and Vishnu Prasad, who's in second, while young Chirag has done exceedingly well to stay up with the front running pack. And Momentum Motorsports will be delighted, proud of this young boy. He's very highly rated, an exciting talent for the future. But right now it is Sohail Shah who is comfortably ahead, but there is relentless pressure coming in from Diljit TS, Sandeep Kumar, Tijil Rao as well. And now Tijil Rao drops down to 6th with Chirag Ghorpare overtaking Tijil. He's moved up to 5th. Now Tijil, can he take that place back? That's the 5th position. It's going neck to neck at the moment. Slightly ahead was Chirag. No problem, no such problem for the race leaders.
Yes, not much of a difference though between Chirag Ghorpare and Tijil Rao. Quick reminder to everyone who's watching this broadcast, Tijil Rao's been a fighter. He's been very tenacious, someone who battled, as I was saying before, on one of the broadcasts earlier as well, battled a condition called the club foot, the inward turning of the feet, and had to undergo multiple surgeries, and overcame all of that. And he's on the racetrack trying to put his best foot forward.
Certainly an inspirational story there, and the kind of work he's done, and to be out there on the racetrack, incredible from Tejal Rao. Doesn't seem to be that push coming in as we're into the final lap. This is, in fact, we're into final few laps. We've got 15 laps of racing. We're into lap number 12 now. There doesn't seem to be that opening coming in from either Vishnu or Sohail Shah that will allow Diljit TS to move up ahead, or even Sandeep Kumar to get a podium finish. Some of these are young, some are experienced campaigners, and they're certainly, as you said, Raman, doing their best, putting on a great, thrilling show, in fact. But now, for a moment, Diljit TS slides off the track, and that allows a bit of an opening for his teammate, and that's Sandeep Kumar, who's now moved up to fourth. Diljit from fourth to third, and Diljit has dropped down to fourth now.
But Sohail Shah is running away with it, as Vishnu Prasad is running second. The seasoned campaigner has done very well. He's not overtly challenged his teammate and trying to mess the plans up. He's stuck to a plan of holding off the contenders, holding off the challengers. And now maybe when the race gets towards the business end, probably the final lap or the last 2 laps, is where we might just see Vishnu trying to push. Oh, there's a problem there. Chirag Ghorpare is in trouble. There was Chirag, who was in the top 5. He's just had a nasty collision, probably lost his racing line, and in the end ended up losing the nose of his car as well.
Well, he came straight through, got off the track onto the dirt, and then went straight through from there, and the front of his car hit the back of one of the Dark Dawns, and well, the Dark Dawn did continue to go on, but it was a problem for Chirag. Sandeep Kumar is in third, Sohail Shah comfortably leading the race, Vishnu in second, Diljit in fourth, Tejal Rao is in fifth, and thanks to that little incident earlier, Mohammad Ran has moved up to sixth position.
So when the race began, Karthikeya, there were 4 Dark Dawn cars in the top 5. And now the way it stands, in the top 6, you've got 3 M Sport cars in the mix, and only 2 Dark Dawns that remain in Sandeep Kumar's car and Diljit TS's car. But the 3 M Sport cars who are in the top 6 is, in fact, it's 3 apiece, I beg your pardon. Let me correct myself. Tejal Rao also of Dark Dawn Racing. So 3 apiece for M Sport and Dark Dawn.
Well, it was 4 out of 4 as far as the starting grid was concerned for Dark Dawn, and now it's 50% each. So that tells you how well Sohail and Vishnu have done, and capitalizing on that moment, Mohammad Ran moving up in the top 6 as well. Now running into the back markers, that is Muskan Jubal. With that, that's the checkered flag. It means it's the end of the race, and it's Sohail Shah that's taken the checkered flag.
Yes, and remember, we had an additional formation lap as well. If you remember, for those of you who might just be wondering why the graphic was just showing 14 laps for a 15-lap race, remember, we had an additional formation lap that was held, and that's been counted within the race. So that's the way it's gone. Sohail Shah notches up a race win. Vishnu Prasad is the one who finishes second. Sandeep Kumar is the third driver on the podium. He's finished third, the driver from Dark Dawn Racing.
Maybe disappointed would be Diljit TS, started at P2, was in the lead, but let that go. And Sohail Shah says thank you very much, takes the checkered flag. 10 points for him, 10 points for Vishnu earlier in the day. Vishnu comes in second. Diljit TS finishes fourth, Tejal Rao in fifth. So there's still at least 3 Dark Dawns in the top 5, so there will be some decent number of points in the kitty as far as the Constructors' Championship is concerned. It was a very, very entertaining race with both Vishnu and Diljit going head-to-head initially, exchanging leads. Then in the end, it was Sohail Shah, who said, you've had enough, I've had enough, you guys can continue with your quarrel, I'm leading the race.
But I think the biggest disappointment would be for Arya Singh, the Dark Dawn racing driver, who was in the race lead and then completely missed his racing line, not once but twice, and in the end doesn't finish among the points. But that's confirmation of the winners for you. Sohail Shah notches up a race win. Vishnu Prasad, his second podium finish of the day, follows up a win earlier today with a second place finish now, and Sandeep Kumar of Dark Dawn Racing is third.
So good day for M Sport as far as racing is concerned. They won the inaugural, the opening race of this day, with Vishnu winning this race today now, and it's Sohail Shah who's won this one, and Rohan Alva winning the Novice Cup race as well. So tremendous our weekend as far as M Sport is concerned. While Dark Dawn certainly did put in a lot of effort, they will have something to think about. They'll go back to the drawing board and try and turn things around in the second round. So we've got our race winners of the final race of the opening round. It is Sohail Shah who wins. Vishnu Prasad comes in second. Diljit TS comes in fourth, with Sandeep taking the third place on the podium. Was an exciting race, as I said. We'll quickly check out the highlights of that. It was Arya Singh and Diljit TS who started. In fact, it was 4 Dark Dawns, but it was a very, very good start there for Vishnu Prasad. You can see from the left of the screen, straight away, starting from P5, gets into the third position, does Vishnu, and from there on, he continued to put pressure on the likes of Arya Singh, Diljit TS as well. There, he's already taken the second spot with Arya Singh leading. Diljit then returned the favour, took the lead back from Vishnu, and had that moment where Arya Singh got off the track for a moment. There was that slip for Sandeep Kumar. Despite that, managed to finish in one of the podium positions. Happened again for Arya Singh as he went straight through rather than corner one going that left. The battle then continued, as this was the time when Vishnu took the lead back from Diljit TS. This was a very, very intense battle earlier on in the race, and once Vishnu got that, then you had Diljit take the lead back again. So this is how the race was going till again Vishnu making his move and taking that lead, and in that process Sohail Shah too tried to put some pressure and got ahead of Diljit TS. Wasn't done, as Sohail Shah had other ideas. Vishnu, remember, won the opening race, so he must be targeting the second checkered flag, but as you can see, Sohail Shah, as I said, had other ideas, and he took the lead away from Vishnu Prasad and went on to lead the race himself. Started off with 4 Dark Dawns in the front. That's the incident where Chirag spun off. You can see that nose of his car flying away, had a little contact as well, as there comes Sohail Shah for the final time in this race to take the checkered flag. Sohail Shah coming in first, Vishnu second, and Sandeep Kumar coming in third. We've had a tremendous weekend of racing action, whether it be the JK Tyre Novice Cup category, whether it be the JK Tyre Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup, or whether it be the high octane JK Tyre LGB Formula 4 category. We've had 8 races this weekend. They've been tremendous. The results, obviously, going up and doing M Sport fairly happy. They won the 2 races in the LGB category today. They won the 3 races in the Novice Cup category as well, while it was a very, very dominating weekend for Anish Shetty, as he won both the races in the Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup category as well. So those were your winners for the weekend. We've had a great Saturday as far as the weather was concerned. Sunday, a tad bit hot with the sun belting down at this beautiful Kari Speedway. You can see on the screen, far in the background, you can see the windmills as well. You can see all the greenery and the plantations around. And on the other side of this view, you have those mountains as well. It's just a perfect space and perfect place for motorsports action. And as Raman said earlier, as the evening sets in, the sun goes down, the weather gets better. And it's a beautiful place, a wonderful place to be in as far as the city, the culture, the people and the racing action is concerned. So here are your winners. That's Sandeep Kumar taking the third place on the podium. At a point of time, Sandeep had that skid slide and dropped down as far as out of the top 6, fought his way back and finishes third place on the podium. There's Vishnu Prasad taking the second position. Won the race earlier today and now is second. Although his teammate has won, he's not someone who is happy with a second place. Vishnu always wants to be top, but his teammate Sohail Shah gets the top of the podium. That's a win for Sohail Shah. Second, Vishnu Prasad. And third, Sandeep Kumar of Dark Dawn. There'll be a trophy for the technician as well.
Well done, Justin. And now, as you raise the trophy, please pick up your trophy. Justin, well done. Raise your trophy, gentlemen. And I also request Halisa to please join us on.
So that's the confirmation. Sohail Shah, Vishnu Prasad, and Sandeep Kumar. That's how it's finished as Kari Singh, Chief of Safety, joins in for a group photograph.
I can still do it at 360. This is the second time I've seen it. Gentlemen, off your masks, please. Justin now, mask it in now. Sohail, show me your teeth, man. Yeah. Vishnu, congratulations. Well done. Thank you, gentlemen.
So the prize distribution ceremony is done. As you saw there, Sohail Shah taking the top spot on the podium. Vishnu Prasad coming in second and Sandeep Kumar taking the third and final place on the podium.
As always, the Formula LGB4 promises exciting action, and we got that today. I'm going to talk to Sohail very quickly. You overcome the disappointment of having won, a race and then being penalized for it, not having that win registered under your name earlier, and then saying, okay, I'm going to go on and win another one.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously disappointing to have a race victory taken away from you, especially after you've been given the trophy. It's like the pictures are done. You can't revert the pictures. So having those pictures of moment of joy and then taking it away, it's very disappointing. But then today's a new day, came with a fresh mind, messed around in the first race, got back together, and then, just you have to get ahead. And hats off to this man here, Vishnu Prasad, for holding up, I don't know how many Dark Dawns to finish second. But yeah, he did a terrific job. And yeah, it's a 1-2 for M Sport. I don't think the team could be happier.
Congratulations. And Vishnu, I'm going to get you into this conversation because, so let's just raise that. When the race began, there were 4 Dark Dawn racing drivers on P1, P2, P3 and P4. By the time it's ended, it's 2 M Sport drivers who finished 1-2.
I mean, when we begin the race, I knew it was going to be super hard. I told even Sohail and Rahul that if we manage to get one car on the podium, it will be a big effort. But I mean, it was an amazing race with those guys as well. I think it's been, over the last couple of years, I think this has been one of the best races. Super clean, everyone's been respectful, and there's nothing more that I enjoy than races like these, so I'm super happy. Yeah.
Congratulations, it's the second podium for you for the day. A win and a second place finish. Well done.
Yeah, it's good, but hopefully it's a long championship, so I know this category, and it's these two podiums mean nothing. Yeah.
There's still 3 more rounds to come and a whole lot more action. Well done. Let's have a quick chat with Sandeep. Sandeep, because you've had a topsy-turvy race. If I can just sum it up, you know, so much action, so much drama unfolding, and in the end, it's you who ends up on the podium for Dark Dawn.
Yeah, I mean, this weekend has been quite tough. It's been up and down and up and down. And with this class, you can never say where you're going to finish until the checkered flag drops. This race, again, was quite tough. I think the first few laps were really close, and I was about to go into my teammate. So I went really hard on the brakes and spun going into one of the corners, and then managed to do a quick 360 and get back the car. I think that was lucky that I didn't collect any cars, and I think everyone were mindful of the space. But whatever said and done, I think Sohail and Vishnu drove a wonderful race, and it's always good to have such healthy racing going on through the weekend. And yeah, I mean, this class, as Vishnu said, you never know until the last race finishes for the championship who's the champion. So I mean, you just put your head down, take it one race by race. So I'm happy for Team Dark Dawn Racing and for the winners.
How difficult is it for someone who's been the national champion to go into the next season and say, hang on, I don't know if I'm the favorite?
You never know, because the grid has close to about 6 to 7 national champions. So not everyone is winning it every year, right? So I mean, that's the whole beauty of the series, and that's why every person comes back to the series, because it's pure racing, pure spirit, because the machines have reached its threshold. Now it's just proper, you know, a driver's ability and being sane through the season to be up there. So yeah.
Let's savor the moment, Sandeep.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's what we have for you from the presentation area, and also, of course, that brings an end to the racing action of round 1 of the JK Tyre-FMSCI National Racing Championship. That's into its 24th edition. Well, racing action might be done and dusted. What we will do now is leave you pictures with the stunt show. There's always a whole lot of pomp and show when you come to the National Championship, if it's the JK Tyre-FMSCI National Championship. So a stunt show for you to enjoy. We leave you with those pictures.